He's a psychopath! Run for your lives! Senior Doan looked at the body, her voice trembling. To Tram, I'm afraid you've just sparked a massive catastrophe. The protagonist voiced a simple law of survival. He tried to kill me, so I ended him. Why should his title change the consequences? Senior Doan explained the gravity of the situation. The Bach family is a titan in the professional world. They'll hunt you down. And the other scions? They'll see this as a declaration of war against their status. But history shows that every era of inherited arrogance eventually crumbles. The protagonist shrugged. Let them come. I don't look for fights, but I don't run from them either. If they want me dead, they'll end up like him. Senior Doan gave her warning, but she couldn't help but admire his iron will. Standing tall, she said, Regardless of what happens, I'm staying by your side. The protagonist nodded. Let's move. We still have 2 more medicine kings to track down. Meanwhile, Du Thien Nhut's team was basically having a scenic hike through the realm. A teammate remarked, Brother Du, at this rate, we're going to be the first to reach the exit and clear the zone. Du Thien Nhut, ever the glory seeker, beamed. Perfect. Even without a medicine king, clearing this realm will make our squad legendary. He turned to the quietest member of the group. Shuangyan, you've been awfully quiet. What's on your mind? Li Shuangyan replied grimly, I have a gut feeling that all these weird changes in the realm, they're all because of Tram. Du Thien Nhut laughed it off with a sneer. That freshman? You're giving that kid way too much credit. Li Shuangyan pointed toward a muddy patch on the path. I'm just following the evidence. Look at those donkey hoof prints everywhere. But the Thien Nhut squad, blinded by their own pride, chose to look the other way. It's a miracle if that kid even survived. How could he possibly affect an entire realm? I hope I find him just so I can put him in his place. While the so-called scions are busy drowning in their own delusions, the protagonist is focused on the real prize, hunting down the last of the medicine kings. There it is! But this one is covered in lethal spikes. Handling it won't be a walk in the park. The protagonist sent one of his donkey companions forward to test its rolling skill against the target. Tragedy struck instantly as the poor donkey was impaled by the razor-sharp thorns. A system alert flashed, confirming the loss of a companion. A fallen donkey cannot be brought back. The protagonist went cold. This was the first time one of his loyal friends had been killed in action. Senior Doan wasn't interested in a suicide mission for a high score. She turned to her junior and urged, We've already gathered so much. If this is too dangerous, let's just pull out. No treasure is worth a life. The protagonist's eyes hardened with resolve. Let's give it one more shot. Since these last 2 medicine kings couldn't be carried out anyway, he decided he might as well let his herd feast on them to gain power. The donkeys began to glow as they sensed a massive surge of energy within them. The 4 alpha donkeys radiated light as glowing, ancient-looking runes etched themselves into their fur. The system pinged. Your alpha donkey has consumed spirit medicine and evolved, unlocking the innate talent, evolution power. The protagonist was intrigued. Another evolution? What exactly does evolution power do? The alpha donkey let out a commanding bray, summoning 10 other donkeys to gather around it. The protagonist watched closely, wondering, what is the alpha planning now? He watched in awe as the alpha donkey began funneling its own radiant energy into the 10 surrounding companions. It was acting as a catalyst, forcing the 10 donkeys to undergo their own transformations. The protagonist was stunned. The alpha can actually trigger evolutions in the ordinary members of the herd. System alert. Alpha donkey activated evolution power. The herd is diversifying. 10 donkeys have shifted into the magic pet class, unlocking the fire elemental skill, Fireball. The protagonist grinned. Now that is a game changer. That is the true essence of evolution. I can now tailor my herd into specialized roles. My donkeys can become whatever the situation demands. Once this is fully developed, I won't just have a herd, I'll have a highly specialized professional army. The mere thought of it is exhilarating. Following the alpha donkey's silent command, the 10 newly evolved donkeys opened their mouths in unison and unleashed a barrage of fireballs. The thorny cactus was incinerated, a fitting punishment for killing one of their brothers. Senior Doan was speechless. 11 donkeys spitting fire in a coordinated long-range strike? To Tram, your companions are beyond miraculous. No plant could survive that kind of concentrated heat. The charred cactus finally yielded its glowing Medicine King core. The protagonist leaped up and snatched it from the ashes. Another trophy. He immediately fed the core to the alpha donkey to fuel more growth. The cycle of evolution continued. The alpha donkey called out once more, signaling the herd. 10 more ordinary donkeys stepped forward into the light. This group began to transform into a completely different form. The system notified. Alpha donkey used evolution power. 10 donkeys are now shifting into the tank pet class. The protagonist beamed with excitement. Perfect! Heavy armor donkeys! Look at those thick metallic scales. They look like they could stop a tank. With his new specialized squad, the protagonist tracked down the location of the final Medicine King. Senior Doan, now full of confidence, looked at the prize with anticipation. This is the last one. If we secure this, we clear the entire realm. No one has achieved that in over a century. You'll be a living legend. The protagonist studied the final king, which was hovering mysteriously in mid-air. It didn't look like it would go down easy. Senior Doan didn't hesitate. Let me test the waters. She leaped up and lashed out with her whip, but the strike passed right through the target, as if she were whipping a ghost. Frowning, Senior Doan swung again with more force. The dandelion-like Medicine King retaliated, firing a volley of needle-thin thorns. The protagonist, anticipating the counter, moved instantly. He ordered one of his high-defense tank donkeys to leap up and serve as a living shield for Senior Doan. The donkey's reinforced scales swatted away the thorns like they were mere toothpicks. Senior Doan landed safely, breathing a sigh of relief. That was a close one. If your donkey hadn't blocked that, I'd be full of holes right now. The protagonist noted with satisfaction. These tank donkeys are absolute units. A direct hit from a Medicine King didn't even leave a scratch. After analyzing the encounter, Senior Doan concluded, I think this Medicine King is immune to physical trauma. Conventional attacks just phase right through it. The protagonist paused, thinking. Raw power wasn't the issue. It was the lack of a tangible target that made this tricky. Suddenly, the Thien Nhut squad emerged from the brush, their voices dripping with spite. Look at that! The brat is still kicking! The pink-haired guy sneered. He's just lucky the realm is acting weird. Most of the monsters seem to have taken a vacation. Another teammate pointed upward, his eyes widening. Captain, look, over there, it's a Medicine King! Du Thien Nhut's face lit up with greed. It really is. We've walked for miles without finding a weed, and now we stumble upon the ultimate prize. Listen up, Tram. This Medicine King belongs to the Thien Nhut squad now. Back off. The protagonist stepped aside with a cold smirk. If you think you can actually take it, be my guest. Du Thien Nhut laughed, convinced the freshman had finally been intimidated into submission. This brat finally understands the pecking order. A freshman with that much ego needs to be put in his place. Consider this a free lesson in humility. Zhuangyan leaned in and whispered, To Tram, tell me the truth. Did your donkeys actually devour every single medicinal herb in this realm? The protagonist nodded. Every last one. Zhuangyan shook her head, impressed. I should have known. Only you would have the guts to pull a stunt that massive. Du Thien Nhut turned to his subordinates, his voice booming with fake authority. Move out! This is the Thien Nhut squad's ticket to legendary status. Seize that Medicine King for me. Two of his lackeys sprinted forward, eager to be the first to claim the prize. In an instant, the duo realized they had made a fatal mistake. Wait, why is my hand passing right through it? That confused question was the last thing they ever said. Despite being an upperclassman, it was clear Du Thien Nhut was a complete rookie when it came to Medicine Kings. He looked baffled that the treasure was fighting back. The two lackeys were riddled with thorns like human pincushions and slammed into the dirt. The pink-haired guy checked the bodies and looked up, pale. Captain, they're gone, both of them. The protagonist's earlier assessment of them being brainless was looking more accurate by the second. Du Thien Nhut, sounding more like a bumbling amateur than a seasoned leader, stammered, This Medicine King, it's a lot tougher than the book said. Only a complete moron would take this long to state the obvious. Somehow, the Thien Nhut squad managed to lose yet another member in a carbon copy repeat of the first disaster. Running low on both courage and logic, the pink-haired guy voiced the captain's hidden fear. Captain, we're outmatched. This thing is a ghost we can't touch, but it hits like a freight train. Let's just cut our losses and get out of here. Senior Doan felt the pressure too. To Tram, maybe we should listen to them. This feels like a losing battle. The protagonist had a different plan, relying on his unique support mechanics. Just a second, Senior Doan. I need you to help me land a hit. Senior Doan looked at him, her face full of confusion. Knowing he couldn't explain the system's logic, he simply said, "If you trust me, just take one swing at that Medicine King." After witnessing his miracles all day, Senior Doan didn't hesitate. She put her full faith in him. Suddenly, a heavy kitchen cleaver materialized in her grip. The remaining Thien Yacht members, bitter about their own failure, sneered from the sidelines. Look at her. She saw what happened to the others, and she's still charging in like a fool. Senior Doan leaped into the air, bringing the blade down with everything she had. Against all physical logic, the blade connected with a resounding thud. The Thien Yacht duo gasped. How? How did she actually make contact with that thing? The protagonist grinned. It worked. Helping with a strike was a rule-breaking ability. It bypassed all defenses to strip 10% of the target's health instantly. A guaranteed hit, every time. The protagonist turned to the other girl. Lai Shuangyan, I need you to step up and land a blow as well. Li Guangyan didn't ask questions. She trusted his instincts and moved in. She lunged forward, burying her dagger deep into the heart of the Medicine King. A massive shockwave erupted in the air, echoing through the clearing. When the dust settled, the monster was gone, leaving behind a shimmering purple elixir orb. The protagonist was ecstatic. A critical strike! There's a tiny chance helping with a strike triggers a lethal blow, and Lai Shuangyan just hit the jackpot. The two blockheads from Thien Yacht, who clearly weren't burdened by high IQs, shouted, The Medicine King is dead? What just happened? Is Li Shuangyan secretly a god? Shuangyan, did you secure the essence? Li Shuangyan stared at the orb, her voice hushed. This must be the core. I can feel a terrifying amount of medicinal energy radiating from it. Despite contributing nothing but cowardice, Do Thien Yacht marched over and held out his hand. Hand it over, quickly. I'll take charge of it. Li Shuangyan walked toward him slowly, her expression unreadable. Do Thien Yacht tried to sound persuasive. Give me that core, and I'll make sure you're taken care of. I can get you a seat at the Scion's table in the academy. But Lai Shuangyan had a spine of steel. She walked right past him and handed the orb to the person who earned it. To Tram, this belongs to you. Du Thien Yacht looked like he had been slapped. He would never understand why someone would choose loyalty over status. He screamed, Li Shuangyan, are you insane? Why would you give that to a freshman? Li Shuangyan replied with chilling calm, because he's the reason we won. Du Thien Yacht fumed, That's nonsense. You two were the ones who landed the killing blows. Li Shuangyan cut him off. We were just tools for Tram's skill. Without his support, we wouldn't have even scratched that thing. Faced with a reality he couldn't grasp, Du Thien Yacht defaulted to denial. Helping with a strike? You're making up skills now? Do I look like a child to you? Li Shuangyan shrugged, finished with the conversation. Believe whatever makes you feel better. Du Thien Yacht shifted to threats. Get that Medicine King back right now, Li Shuangyan, or you're officially kicked out of this squad. Having seen the ugly truth behind his leadership, Lai Shuangyan realized she didn't want to be in his squad anyway. Du Thien Yacht growled, Fine, I see I completely misjudged your character. He shifted his focus, attempting to charm the senior sister. Hey, you played a part in taking down that Medicine King, too. You've got a cut coming. But Senior Doan was far too honorable for his games. I only provided backup for Tram's strike. That Medicine King belongs to him, fair and square. Du Thien Yacht fell back on his only move, pathetic bribery. Snatch that Medicine King back for me, and I'll give you a permanent spot in the Thien Yacht squad. Senior Doan just looked at him with pity. She knew his ego far too well to ever want a seat at his table. The pink-haired lackey chimed in, Captain, these commoners clearly don't know what's good for them. How should we handle this? Du Thien Yacht's expression twisted with malice. It's time they learned the pecking order for ordinary students. The pink-haired guy barked a haughty command. You, to Tram! Hand over that Medicine King right now if you know what's good for you. Faced with such blatant thuggery, the protagonist didn't bother with manners. And if I choose not to? Du Thien Yacht leaned in with a threat. Then don't expect to walk out of this realm alive today. For scions like us, the Academy barely blinks if a common student disappears during a trial. The protagonist tilted his head. Well, if that's how it's going to be, then this Medicine King, the do guy, accustomed to getting his way, basked in his own delusion. That's better. Hand it over, then get on your knees and beg for forgiveness. The protagonist finished his thought with a smirk. I'd honestly rather feed it to my donkeys than let it touch your hands. The do guy's face turned purple, reacting exactly like the Bach guy. They were clearly cut from the same arrogant cloth. Are you mental? Feeding a divine medicine king to a beast? You brat, do you have any idea the level of sacrilege you're committing? You're making my head explode. That is a priceless treasure, and you're treating it like stable feed. I've never seen anyone this moronic. The protagonist gave a radiant, mocking smile. Priceless? I've gathered all 7 medicine kings today. My donkey's already polished off 5 of them. Feeling a little heated yet? Du Thinyut was momentarily speechless before scoffing. You're a world-class liar. You barely scraped by with help for this one. If you actually secured 7, I'll drop my family name and take yours. The protagonist accepted the bet instantly. It's a deal to Thinyut. Welcome to the family. Thinyut roared in a blind rage. Kill him! Tear him apart! At that exact moment, the exit portal for the secret realm shimmered into existence. The pink-haired guy shouted, Captain, look, the completion portal! It means the realm's trial has been officially cleared! Du Thinyut straightened his collar, still acting superior. Consider this your lucky day. I'll deal with your insolence once we're back on Academy grounds. Move out! Clearing the Medicine King's secret realm will be the crowning glory of the Thinyut squad! Li Shuangyun bit her lip in frustration. It's so unfair that his group gets to walk out first. You're the one who did all the work. The credit for clearing this place belongs to you. The protagonist replied with cool confidence. Relax. They can't steal an honor that isn't theirs to take. Outside the entrance, a massive crowd was still buzzing, though very few had actually dared to step inside. Liloy paced back and forth, worrying aloud. Where is my brother? He should have emerged by now. Suddenly, the portal began to pulse with an intense, blinding energy. The crowd erupted in gossip. What's that light? The realm entrance is surging. Could someone have actually conquered the Medicine King trial? No way. Those guardians are legendary for a reason. But look at the resonance. Someone definitely finished it. I wonder which elite scion team pulled it off. Since this realm opened, it's been an undefeated fortress. Duit stood tall, declaring with pride, It's my dad, obviously. No one else has the skills for it. 2 members of the Thinyut squad stepped out first, their chests puffed out with unearned pride. It's Do Thinyut's team. They've done it. They've cleared the Medicine King's secret realm and achieved a miracle. He truly is a top-tier scion of the Institute. The pink-haired lackey was practically glowing from the attention. Captain, we did it. The world is going to know the name Thinyut by tomorrow morning. Du Thinyut smirked, looking back at the portal. Lai Shuangyan and that other girl were too stubborn for their own good. They have no clue what kind of fame they just threw away. A swarm of students immediately crowded Thinyut, shouting, Captain, are you still taking applications? I'll do anything to join. Tell us, how did your squad defeat the final trial? The Thinyut squad soaked in the hollow praise. Everyone, please, stay calm. As the elite scions of humanity, we simply achieved the excellence expected of us. As for our strategy, let's just say it was all down to my flawless leadership. But the Star Tower's ranking system didn't care about family trees. It only cared about the data. A booming announcement rang out. Trial clearance recorded. High honors to Tram Don Tin Tin. The entire courtyard fell into a deathly confused silence as they stared at the floating text. Unaware of the board behind him, Thinyut was still busy acting the part. Our squad has very strict standards. Unless you're an elite-tier student, don't even bother applying. The murmurs turned into a roar of confusion. Wait, it wasn't the Thinyut squad? Who the hell is Tram? I know Don Tin Ting is a second year, but that other name sounds like a freshman. It took a moment for Thinyut to realize the adoring gaze of the crowd had shifted to something behind him. The pink-haired guy tugged at his sleeve, his voice trembling. Captain, look at the board. Thinyut, who had technically just lost his surname, spun around, his jaw dropping. What? To Tram? This is impossible! We stepped through the portal first. Why is his name up there as the one who cleared it? The protagonist's trio stepped out calmly, radiating a natural authority that made Thien Yat's posturing look cheap. Because, the protagonist said simply, I'm the one who captured every single medicine king. Thien Yat sputtered, refusing to believe the Star Tower's cold, hard facts. You're delusional. There's a bug in the system. It's a mistake. The Star Tower's AI boomed again, leaving no room for doubt. Student Tram has secured all medicine kings within the realm, becoming the first ever to achieve a full clearance. The crowd gasped in unison. Are you kidding? Every single one of them? Thien Yat's world crumbled. He actually snatched all 7? The protagonist looked him in the eye and reminded him, from this moment on to Thien Yat, you'll be using my surname. The evidence was undeniable, yet many in the crowd still shook their heads in disbelief. I can't wrap my head around it. This has to be a fluke. How can a regular student outshine the science like this? It's insane. Most people struggle to find even a single herb, yet he snagged 7 in one go. Quick, look into his history. Is it possible Tram is a hidden ace from the Thien Phu house? It would make sense. Aside from Senior Mo Dung, everyone in Thien Phu is shrouded in mystery. If he's not one of theirs, there's no way he could have pulled off such a feat. Wait, I remember now. Isn't Tram the guy who publicly humiliated the scion Hong Thien Phi? Tram is just a first year. Not only is he not from Thien Phu, he's not even a scion. This is absolute madness. A freshman walking away with 7 medicine kings? You've got to be joking. Let me drop an even bigger bombshell. Tram's most controversial claim to fame is that he's officially Mo Dung Lu Liem's boyfriend. What? Senior Mo Dung actually claimed him as her boyfriend? No way. I'm the first in line to protest. Even if he cleared the entire realm and took every prize, he's still not in the same league as Senior Mo Dung. Sometimes you have to accept the bitter truth. People would rather cling to comfortable lies than admit someone else is better just to protect their own egos. The protagonist sighed. Great. One mention of Mo Dung Lu Liem and these people lose their minds. Thien Yat demanded, Tram, you're still carrying those medicine kings, aren't you? The protagonist turned to his companion. Senior Don Tin Tin, let me have the Snow Ling Zi. The senior sister handed the herb to the protagonist, holding it up for the entire crowd to witness. It's the Snow Ling Zi, the legendary medicine king. They say it can literally revive the dead and cure any ailment, on top of its other mythical properties. If only that treasure belonged to me. Thien Yat spoke with pure avarice. Tram, hand it over right now. Do that, and I might just overlook your previous attitude. How about I give you a slap across the face instead? Keep your hands off. I am a scion of the Institute. A scion of the Institute is exactly who I intended to hit. You can't do this. I am a member of the prestigious Du family. Actually, your last name is Tu now. Thien Yat was used to bullying others into submission. He couldn't handle being challenged. Pure insolence. This is treason. I'll make sure you regret this day for the rest of your life. The guy who just forcibly became Tu Thien Yat is now radiating pure rage, looking exactly like that Hong guy did before his fall. A flame warrior, an incredibly potent combat class. Du Thien Yat is on a different level than Hong Thien Phi. I'm worried. Tram might be in over his head. Thien Yat flexed his aura. I'm going to teach you the painful reality of the gap between a commoner and a scion. The protagonist met that aura with a punch that sent 2 of Thien Yat's teeth flying, a massive blow that sent the man soaring through the air in a perfect arc. The onlookers stood frozen, their mouths agape in total shock. The protagonist gestured with a thumb down. You're right, there is a huge gap. These scions are absolute garbage. The pink-haired lackey scrambled over to Thien Yat, who was out cold on the pavement. As he dragged Thien Yat away, the pink-haired guy shouted back, Tram, you've just invited a total catastrophe. This is far from over. Meanwhile, in a high-rise office, 2 powerful figures sat across from one another. Huac Can, a 7-star magic master, broke the silence. Principal, regarding the allocation of the medicine kings from the secret realm, how should we proceed? Ba Thien Tru, the principal of Thien King Academy, began the division. Give 1 to each of the 3 Thien Phu students. The two top scions get 2. How do we handle the final 2? Hwa Kan suggested, should we grant the remaining 2 to the La and Tong families? Ba Thien Tru nodded. The La and Tong clans are the most influential professional families in the Long region. Distributing the spoils to them makes perfect political sense. Hwa Kan stood up to leave. I'll go coordinate with a Space Grand Mage to force a breach and extract those 7 Medicine Kings. Ba Thien Tru urged him. Be quick. The Guardians in that realm are high-level elite bosses. There's no way the students could actually harvest them on their own. Just as Hwa Kan reached the door, an aide burst in, panting, Principal, a massive development in the Medicine King's secret realm. Ba Thien Tru looked up, concerned. A development? Did a group of students get themselves killed trying to clear it? Hwa Kan added with a sneer, it was probably those delusional commoners. They never know when to quit. The scions would never be that reckless. The messenger shook his head. No, it's that a student has already claimed the Medicine Kings. Hwa Kan froze, unable to process the news. Ba Thien Tru asked sharply, which one was taken? The man swallowed hard. Sir, all of them. Every single one is gone. Both Ba Thien Tru and Hwa Kan stared in stunned silence. Hwa Kan's voice dropped to a dangerous whisper. Do you have any idea what you're saying? The messenger bowed deeply to show his sincerity. Master Hwa Kan, it is the absolute truth. A student named Tram has claimed all 7 Medicine Kings. Ba Thien Tru slammed his desk. Preposterous! Which elite family does this Tram belong to? The messenger delivered the news that none of the faculty wanted to hear. Tram has no clan. He's an ordinary student, and a freshman to boot. Hwa Kan exploded. Impossible. Are you insane or am I? You're telling me a first-year commoner cleared the entire realm and took every prize? The messenger gestured toward the window. Master, if you don't believe me, look at the sky. The secret realm has already broadcast the official announcement. Ba Thien Tru stood up, his face grim. Let's go down there and see this for ourselves. Suddenly, a system window pinged. New quest. Complete the ultimate achievement. Leave Tien Kin Academy and become its first ever dropout. The protagonist fumed. System, are you kidding me right now? What kind of ridiculous quest is this? This is beyond nonsense. I fought tooth and nail to get into the world's top academy, and now you want me to quit? Have you completely lost it? Realizing he couldn't win an argument with the system, the protagonist thought in despair, this is it for me. This system is a total fraud. This mission is literally impossible to pull off. Pushing the quest aside for a moment, loyalty comes first. The protagonist handed the Snow Lingji to his closest friend, Tu Long. Consume this divine herb, it will mend your broken body. Tu Long was just about to use the Snow Lingji's power to restore his strength when Hwa Kan and Ba Thien Tru arrived on the scene to intercept him. The two of them descended from the sky, wearing expressions of supreme authority. Every student present bowed in reverence. It's Principal Ba Thien Tru and the great mage Hwa Kan. Respectful greetings, Principal. Salutations, Master Hwa Kan. The moment he touched down, Hwa Kan's focus was entirely on the treasure. It truly is the legendary Snow Lingji. Ba Thien Tru fixed his gaze on the protagonist and asked, Are you the one named Tram? The protagonist nodded with composed respect. I am. Greetings, Principal. Hwa Kan expressed blatant skepticism. Is it true that you secured 7 Medicine Kings within the trial grounds? The protagonist answered firmly, that is correct. Hwa Kan bypassed the how and went straight to the where. Then where are the remaining plants? Sensing the man's greed, the protagonist replied bluntly, They've already been consumed. The mage's voice rose in shock. Consumed? By whom? The protagonist replied without blinking, My donkeys ate them. Ba Thien Tru stood frozen in silence. Hwa Kan was utterly dumbfounded. Hwa Kan lowered his voice to a dangerous growl. Kid, are you playing games with me? The protagonist clarified that since the herbs couldn't be exported from the realm, he had no choice but to use them as high-grade fodder. Hwa Kan roared in sheer frustration. What an absolute waste of divine treasures! You're making my blood boil! Do you have any concept of how priceless a Medicine King is? Ba Thien Tru spoke with cold indifference. Enough. We cannot change the past. Tram, start by handing over that Snow Lingji. The protagonist's brow furrowed as he met the principal's eyes. On what grounds? Ba Thien Tru was genuinely shocked that a student, let alone a commoner, had the audacity to challenge his authority. The protagonist pressed further. Principal, why are you demanding that I surrender my Snow Lingji? Ba Thien Tru found the question beneath him. To Tram, I am the head of this entire academy. Do you really need to ask why? The protagonist attempted to remain logical, testing the integrity of the man in charge. Sir, I have already committed this herb to my brother here to heal his severe injuries. Huak Can moved closer, ready to use force. Ignorant brat, do you realize how much weight a principal's command carries? However, Tu Long didn't want his friend to pay the price. He prepared himself to remain crippled for his friend's sake. To Tram, just give the principal the herb. My recovery isn't that urgent. Huak Can gestured mockingly toward the friend. It appears your classmate has a better grasp of reality than you do. The protagonist tried to find a middle ground. Principal, I will give you the Snow Lingji, but only if you personally guarantee my brother's full recovery. Ba Thien Tru replied frostily. That is an impossible demand. His damage is deep-seated. It cannot be mended overnight. Let him wait 10 years for the next harvest. Realizing these men were simply state-sanctioned looters, the protagonist declined politely. 10 years? I'm afraid that's too long. I cannot hand this over to you, Principal. Huak Can, a man used to being feared, found the protagonist's defiance alien. Do you even grasp the gravity of your words? The protagonist turned to his friend. Tu Long, eat it now. Tu Long hesitated, paralyzed by the tension. The surrounding students whispered, labeling the protagonist a fool. Is Tu Tram insane? Defying the principal? He's the first to ever try it. His career is over before it even started. The protagonist urged his friend one last time. Don't hold back too long, swallow it. Tu Long thought of the risks his friend had taken and the blatant theft being attempted. A fire of rebellion sparked within him too. Without another moment's hesitation, he gulped down the Snow Lingji. Huak Can surged forward, hand raised. You're begging for death! Stop that boy! But Ba Thien Tru held him back, though his reasons were far from noble. Master Hoak, let it go. We shouldn't lose our tempers over a common student's childish impulse. Doan Ting Ting was about to offer her own herb to ease the tension. Principal, please don't be angry with him. He just wanted to help. I still have... The protagonist cut her off, whispering sharply, Senior sister, stay quiet. You don't owe them anything. Ba Thien Tru spoke of fairness, while his eyes dripped with venom. I am not angry. Tu Tram is a pupil of Thien Kin. He is one of mine. Why would I hold a grudge against my own student? But his next order was a death sentence in disguise. Go. Alert the Thien Phu house and the La and Tong clans that Tu Tram has claimed the Medicine Kings, and they are no longer available for them. Even a novice could hear the target being painted on the protagonist's back. Tu Long worried. Tu Tram, that final order was a declaration of war. He's turning every elite clan against you. Once proud to be a student, Lai Loi was now sickened by the reality. This is garbage! What kind of joke is this academy? They're all just corrupt thugs in fancy robes. Seeing his friend's indignation, the protagonist offered a calm comfort. Don't sweat it. He realized then the system saw this coming. Staying here is no longer an option. The miraculous properties of the Snow Lingji suddenly surged through the room. Tu Long shouted in pure joy as he stood up. I'm standing! My legs! I can feel them again! The protagonist smiled. Tu Long, check your stats. How do you feel? Tu Long, now transformed with an ethereal feminine elegance, replied, It's incredible. It feels like my very soul has evolved. Li Loi's eyes nearly popped out of his head. Holy cow, those are massive! The protagonist stood there, slightly dazed. Brother, you actually smell amazing right now. 3 days passed, and it wasn't just the protagonist who felt the sting of isolation. His inner circle was being systematically iced out by the entire school. Lai Loi finally exploded in a fit of rage. This is garbage. It's been 3 days, and Thien Kin Academy is treating us like ghosts. Not a single instructor will even look at us, let alone teach us a lesson. Tu Long, however, had already made peace with their new reality. An institution with such a grand reputation turns out to be incredibly small-minded. It makes sense, though. We humiliated the principal in front of a massive crowd. He doesn't need to lift a finger or say a word. Everyone here is just taking his silent cue to make our lives a living hell. But was this group going to fall behind the curve? Not a chance. Armed with his unique system, the protagonist wasn't just carving out his own destiny. He was making sure his friends thrived far more than they ever would on a conventional path. He rallied the group. That's enough moping. Everyone's had 3 days to rest up. Let's get moving. Do It looked up, blinking in confusion. Moving? Where exactly are we going? The protagonist grinned. If the teachers won't take us under their wing, then I'll be the one leading the training sessions. Come on! We're going to systematically conquer every single dungeon Tiankin Academy has to offer. The 4 of them strategized as they made their way across campus. Do It checked her calendar nervously. The new disciple induction ceremony is only 7 days away. Tu Long sighed. That's when the faculty picks their protégés based on our initial performance. If we're still blacklisted by then, we're going to be in serious trouble. Leloy had officially checked out of the academy's politics. There's not a decent teacher in this place anyway. If they want to ignore us, let them. But Tu Long provided a grim reality check. It's not just about classes. To enter the Abyss battlefield for real-world combat training, you need a certified mentor to lead the squad. Without a teacher's signature, we're stuck behind the gates. The protagonist remained unfazed. We'll cross that bridge when we get to it. For now, let's see what these secret realms are made of. Thinking wasn't all bad news. Tu Long shared her research. I've done some digging. This place sits on 7 space nodes, the highest concentration of any elite academy in the world. That's why they're ranked number 1. You've already cleared the Medicine King realm. That leaves 6 more for us to dominate. Duyet's eyes lit up with a rumor she'd heard. They say if someone manages to conquer all 7 realms, the academy is forced to grant a legendary special reward. The protagonist's interest was instantly piqued. A special reward? What are we talking about? Do It bit her lip, trying to recall the details. The title of Scion of the Institute. But there's a catch. You have to clear every single one on nightmare difficulty. The protagonist's face fell. Just a title? That's the big prize? Do It tried to explain the prestige. It's more than just a name. Clearing 7 realms on Nightmare is the only way to earn that status. No commoner has ever even come close. It's the invisible wall that separates the nobility from everyone else. Regular students can become elites, but becoming a scion is supposed to be an impossible dream. Even the current crop of scions couldn't solo those challenges, let alone an ordinary student. Hearing this, Lai Loi's opinion of the school hit rock bottom. The more I learn about this place, the more I hate it. It's just a giant machine designed to keep people in their proper social classes, isn't it? The group finally reached the central plaza where 5 shimmering secret realm portals stood in a row. The protagonist was now a household name at Tiankin, but for all the wrong reasons. He was a magnet for spiteful gazes. Look, there he is. That's Tram. Typical. That kid can't go 5 minutes without causing a scene. Looks like he's going for another round in the dungeons. Tu Long pointed to a swirling vortex of energy. We're here. This is the entrance to the next trial. Nearby, a henchman whispered to his boss, Young Master Lang, that's him. That's Tram right over there. Young Master Lang adjusted his collar, a dangerous glint in his eye. Your intel better be spot on this time. I don't want a repeat of the last mix-up. The lackey nodded frantically. I'm certain, boss. That's definitely him. He's the most hated guy in the academy right now. Young Master Lang prepared to flex his status. Let's go. This brat thinks he can steal Mo Dung Lu Liam from me? I'm going to find out exactly how many lives he thinks he has. The protagonist asked his friends, any entry requirements for this one? Tu Long checked the stone tablet. Minimum level is a 2-star professional, max difficulty setting, hell. The protagonist nodded, ready to lead his squad inside. Suddenly, young Master Lang stepped directly into their path, blocking the way. The protagonist didn't have a second to waste on posturing, so he simply sidestepped and shoved the young noble out of the way like a piece of furniture. Young Master Lang stumbled back, completely stunned. Did he just touch me? The lackey immediately fanned the flames of outrage.
Young master, did you see that? That peasant just laid hands on you. He's asking for a death sentence.
Young Master Lang found his voice and roared, "Hey, you! Stop right where you are!" The protagonist paused and gave him a bored look. "Are you addressing me?" Young Master Lang's face turned red. "You arrogant brat! Do you have any idea who you're dealing with?" The protagonist calmly walked up and delivered a stinging slap across his face. "Does your identity change the fact that you're in my way?" Young Master Lang froze again, his brain struggling to process the disrespect. The crowd of students erupted into whispers. "Holy cow! Tram just slapped young Master Lang. He's a scion, but he's way more powerful than Do Thien Nyut. He's a direct heir of the Tong family, one of the two major clans that run this region. Tram must have a death wish to offend a guy like that." When the shock finally wore off, the noble was trembling with fury. "In my entire life, nobody has ever dared to lay a finger on my face." The protagonist promptly slapped him again. "Well, consider that your second time. Feeling better?" Young Master Lang let out a dark, jagged laugh. "Very well then, you've done it now." Leloy looked at the noble with genuine concern. "Is he cheering? I think Tram slapped the sanity right out of his head." Shaking with homicidal rage, young Master Lang hissed, "Tell me, peasant, how exactly do you want your funeral to look?" The protagonist simply turned his back on the man, completely bored by the theatrics. The Star Tower's holographic display flickered to life. Heart of the machine. Please select difficulty. Heart of the machine. Please select difficulty. 4 distinct glowing sigils appeared, representing the different levels of peril. Without a moment's hesitation, the protagonist and his team tapped the sigil for Hell difficulty. The quartet vanished into the portal, leaving the plaza behind. The lackey panicked. "Young master, he's running! He's going into the dungeon!" Lang sneered at his followers. "Move out, we're following them into the Star Tower." As Lang approached the terminal, the difficulty selection popped up. His henchman whispered, "Boss, look, Tram just locked in Hell difficulty." Young Master Lang scoffed. "Hell difficulty? They're literally walking into a meat grinder. Only a suicidal idiot would choose that setting." The henchmen were desperate to avoid a suicide mission, pleading with young Master Lang, "We don't actually have to pick Hell difficulty, do we? Those peasants probably can't even afford the resurrection stones for this realm. Once they step inside, they're as good as dead. There's 0 chance they're coming back." Exactly. Even if we choose Nightmare difficulty, we'll be sent to a parallel training dimension anyway. We won't even run into them. There's no point in risking Hell mode just to spite him. The arrogant young Master Lang sneered. "What? Are you cowards afraid of a challenge?" "I promise you the Lang squad is nothing but elites. I've got an itch to conquer Hell difficulty right here, right now." With a smirk, he slammed his hand down on the Hell difficulty button. The spectators outside were in a total frenzy. It's been ages since anyone dared to trigger Hell mode. Young Master Lang's team is legendary in Thien Kin. If anyone can beat it, it's them. As for Tram, I heard he just got lucky in the Medicine King realm. This time his luck runs out and it'll probably cost him his life. Meanwhile, the protagonist's group materialized within the mechanical realm. They were stunned to find themselves in a sprawling metropolis overflowing with futuristic technology. Tu Long pointed down the path. "If we follow this central boulevard all the way to the finish line, we'll clear the Heart of the Machine trial." "Heads up, combat droids incoming! Full throttle, we're breaking through their line!" The protagonist whistled, summoning his newly evolved herd, and initiated a high-speed cavalry charge. Everywhere the donkey stampede thundered. The mechanical guards were reduced to piles of smoking scrap metal. The group sat tight on their mounts as they tore through the steel corridors. Leloy grinned. "Riding with Brother Toe is like having a cheat code. This momentum is incredible." Tu Long shouted over the wind. "The objective is straight ahead." Duit's eyes widened. "Wait, something's wrong, get back." The protagonist caught the panic in her voice and glanced up, only to see a massive shadow of steel descending to flatten them. He roared at the group, "Scatter, now!" A colossal mechanical foot slammed into the pavement where they had just been standing. The protagonist hissed under his breath. What kind of monster is that? A towering figure of sleek, high-tech chrome rose from the dust, its optics glowing with cold light. Leloy gasped. This tin can is the size of a skyscraper. Tu Long tightened his grip. This is the final guardian of the heart of the machine. To Tram, a hell-level boss like this is going to be a nightmare to dismantle. The mechanical titan's voice boomed like thunder. Puny biologicals, do not incite my wrath, or this sector will become your graveyard. At the protagonist's signal, the donkeys activated their specialized rolling thunder maneuver. They launched themselves like cannonballs at the mechanical giant, but the impact barely left a dent. His plating is too thick. This hell-level guardian makes the Medicine Kings look like target practice. The boss didn't wait. It unleashed a homing missile that sent several donkeys tumbling through the air. Do-It froze in terror as the shockwave of the blast barreled toward her. But the protagonist was already a step ahead with his evolved protectors. He deployed 3 heavy-armored donkeys to form an unbreakable wall, absorbing the explosion and keeping the team unscathed. The system warned, 2 units heavily damaged. Remember, a fallen donkey is gone forever. The protagonist's mind raced. He couldn't afford a war of attrition. He needed a strategy, and he needed it now. Tu Long stepped forward, her form shifting with newfound power. Let me handle the climb. The protagonist looked at her with concern. Are you sure you can take him, Tu Long? She nodded confidently. I've memorized the blueprints. To kill a titan like this, we have to pierce the mechanical heart located on its head. I'm the only one fast enough to reach it. To Tram, you've carried us this far. It's time we pulled our own weight. The mechanical boss looked down, treating them like bothersome insects. Tu Long moved like a blur, nimbly sliding between the boss's massive crushing fists. The titan locked on and fired a close-range rocket. Leloy screamed, "Behind you, look out!" With a powerful swing, Tu Long used her heavy axe to swat the rocket away, altering its trajectory. The explosion blossomed nearby, but Tu Long used the momentum to propel herself forward. She successfully latched onto the boss's leg armor. Do-It watched, her breath hitched in her throat. It's so risky, Sister Tu Long is putting everything on the line. The evolved Tu Long scaled the metal giant with feline grace, leaping toward the machine's head. She swung around to the back of the neck, spotting a flickering light beneath the plating. She signaled to the group below. I see it. The mechanical heart is exposed. Leloy cheered. She did it. She's in position. Don't hold back. Smash it to pieces. But a hell-level boss isn't defeated by a single opening. Suddenly, the machine's head spun a full 360 degrees to face her. Tu Long felt a jolt of panic as the reality of the situation set in. The mechanical titan sneered. Shocking, isn't it? The boss unleashed a blast from its maw, but Tu Long flipped backward with feline grace, barely escaping the brunt of the heat. Acting on instinct, the protagonist lunged forward and extended his arm. A donkey read his mind, leaping into position to act as a soft buffer and safely catch Tu Long. The protagonist rushed over, asking anxiously, Are you hurt? The empowered Tu Long caught her breath. I'm all right, but this hell difficulty guardian is definitely no walk in the park. The machine didn't pause, launching a barrage of rockets directly from its palms. As a literal curtain of explosives began to descend upon the team, Leloy cried out in despair. Damn it, with that much firepower, where are we even supposed to run? Do-It's eyes glowed as she pointed. There! 17 meters to the left, there's a gap in the trajectory. The protagonist barked the order. Move! Everyone to that spot now! Following her lead, the group slipped into the eye of the storm, staying safe without burning through their defensive energy. The protagonist looked at her impressed. Trong Do-It, your timing was flawless. Do-It adjusted her glasses. My senses have sharpened significantly. I can practically see the paths the projectiles will take. They survived the first volley, but the machine immediately reloaded for a second round. Brace yourselves, here comes the next wave. Do-It didn't miss a beat. Charge forward exactly 9 meters. Once again, the group emerged from the smoke completely unscathed. Leloy whistled in amazement. That's incredible. If you keep leveling up, you'll be reading the future by next week. However, Tu Long kept her head in the game. We can't just play hide-and-seek forever. We need to finish this. The evolved Tu Long surged upward for another offensive strike. One of the Titan's massive hands swiped through the air. It tried to flatten her into the metal, but she slipped through its fingers. Too Long reached the mechanical heart for a second time. She pulled her axe back for a finishing blow, but the boss pulled the same trick, spinning its head 180 degrees to force her back. Her effort was thwarted again. Loi growled in frustration. Seriously? Does this thing have eyes in the back of its head? It has no blind spots. The machine unhinged its jaw, preparing to vaporize Too Long at point-blank range. But Too Long made a suicidal gamble. She dove headfirst into the boss's gaping mouth. The protagonist's heart skipped a beat. He couldn't fathom what his friend was thinking. Loi's jaw dropped. Holy crap! Too Long just jumped straight into the belly of the beast. The mechanical guardian roared, its voice vibrating through the floor. You choose a gruesome death? Suddenly, the Titan's head began to shudder and spark, showing signs of internal sabotage. The boss clutched its metallic skull, screaming in agony. You filthy parasite! Get out of my systems! One of the boss's hands erupted in a shower of sparks and shrapnel. A second later, the entire head assembly detonated into a million jagged pieces. Sister Too Long emerged from the wreckage, clutching the mechanical heart. She had effectively dismantled the Titan from within. Loi cheered, We did it! The giant is down! Duit's eyes shone with hero worship. Sister Too Long is an absolute legend. With its central processing unit destroyed, the Titan's massive frame collapsed into a heap of silent steel. Notification. Congratulations. You've cleared the Hell difficulty trial, Heart of the Machine. Rank, S grade. Reward, 1 God-slaying point per member. New item acquired, Mechanical Heart. Loi was beaming. God-slaying points? I never dreamed I'd actually earn a legendary honor like that. Too Long shared her knowledge. My notes say this Mechanical Heart is a 1 in a million drop. It only appears on the very first clear of Hell difficulty. The protagonist examined the glowing orb. What's its purpose? Too Long explained, it's a massive catalyst for skill evolution, but it's specifically tuned for mechanical-based classes. The protagonist looked at his team. Mechanical? That would be Loi's department. Loi scratched his head, looking puzzled. But I'm just a standard tank warrior. Do I even qualify for that? Knowing it would make the team stronger, Too Long handed the core over without a second thought. It's yours, Loi. Use it well. Loi hesitated, shaking his head. No, I can't take this. It's far too valuable, and I honestly don't feel like I've earned it yet. Too Long shook her head firmly. Don't be ridiculous. Out of the 4 of us, you're the only one whose path aligns with its power. It belongs to you? Since teaming up with the protagonist, Loi had developed a much stronger sense of integrity. He argued, a legendary artifact like this should be sold for a fortune. I'm just a standard warrior. I haven't done enough to justify holding on to something this divine. The protagonist finally intervened. Enough with the modesty. You're part of this squad. Strengthening yourself is the best way you can contribute to our survival. Hearing those words, Loi's doubt vanished. He nodded resolutely. I get it now, Brother Toe. I'll take it. I'm going to train until I can hold my own in a fight just like Too Long. The protagonist gave a nod of approval. Good. Integrate the mechanical heart right now. Without further delay, Loi absorbed the glowing core into his essence. Duit leaned in close, curious. Well, do you feel any different? Loi's voice sounded strange as he replied, I feel like I'm about to undergo a total reconfiguration. Duit blinked in confusion. Reconfiguration? The change was more literal than any of them could have imagined. With a metallic clank, Loi transformed entirely into a massive, heavy warhammer. The protagonist staggered back, stunned. What in the world? He turned into a piece of hardware? How is this even possible? The female version of Too Long studied the weapon. It seems the compatibility wasn't a perfect match. Instead of a standard upgrade, the mechanical heart triggered a unique mutation. Even as a hammer, Loi's voice echoed clearly in their minds. Brother Toe, I feel absolutely invincible in this form. The protagonist chuckled, relieved. Well, if you can still talk, I guess it's not a total disaster. The protagonist gripped the handle, feeling the immense weight. Let's see just how much power you're packing now. He hoisted the formidable hammer high above his head. Instead of a simple swing, he took aim at a distant, sturdy tower and hurled the weapon. Go, bring that structure down! The Loi hammer whistled through the air and slammed into the side of the building. Initially, there was a strange silence. Nothing seemed to happen. Just as the protagonist began to think the impact was a dud, the tower and the very ground beneath it began to vibrate with a violent rhythmic tremor. The aftermath left everyone breathless. A single throw had completely pulverized the massive building into dust. The destructive force was nothing short of apocalyptic. The attack was peculiar. It left no marks on the exterior but shattered everything within. It was a weapon designed to deliver pure internal trauma to any foe. Leloy shifted back to human form, radiating a new sense of pride. "I'm your ultimate weapon now. Don't hold back. Swing me as hard as you like. I promise to make every impact a masterpiece." The protagonist cleared his throat, suppressing a smile. "I appreciate the enthusiasm, Leloy, but watch your phrasing." The group exited the portal area looking fresh and revitalized without a scratch on them. The onlookers began to buzz with excitement. "No way! Tram's crew is back already!" "Big deal. They probably just used an escape stone to bail out. There's no way freshmen could survive that long in there. Surviving at all is their only victory." Suddenly, the Star Tower's broadcast boomed. "Honors to Trio Tu Long, to Tram, Trong Duyet, and Leloy for conquering the Hell difficulty trial, Heart of the Machine." A deafening silence fell over the plaza. "What? They actually beat it? On the hardest setting?" Leloy smirked, enjoying the view. "There's nothing better than the look on their faces when they're proven wrong." The protagonist didn't slow down, heading for the next portal. "Next stop, Skull Swamp, Hell difficulty, let's move." The skeletal hordes were no match for the stampede of rolling, armored donkeys. The protagonist noted, "Skull Swamp feels like a vacation compared to that last mechanical nightmare." Tu Long agreed. "Research says Heart of the Machine is the peak challenge here, with the Medicine King realm right behind it. The other 5 should be a breeze." Only a few minutes later, the guardian of the swamp emerged. It was a massive marsh plant beast, a perfect target for the protagonist's fire-breathing donkeys. He raised a hand to his team. "Hold on a second. Once the donkeys bring it down to half health, I want everyone to jump in and deliver the final blows." The trio drew their weapons and charged the weakened beast with a roar. Just as planned, they landed a series of perfectly synchronized, lethal strikes. Duyet beamed as the loot dropped. "Finished! That couldn't have taken more than 5 minutes." The protagonist gestured toward the horizon. "Keep the momentum. Let's wipe out the final 4 dungeons before lunch." 30 minutes of non-stop action later, the squad stood victorious, having shattered records that no other student group had even dared to touch. Leloy cheered. "That's the last one! 6 for 6 in record time!" The stunned audience had run out of excuses to doubt them. "This is insane. Did he really just clear 6 Hell difficulty nodes back-to-back?" "It's true. Including the Medicine King trial, he's conquered every single space node in the Academy, all on the maximum difficulty." "It's terrifying. If you told me he was an ordinary first year, I'd call you a liar." The power balance of Tian Kin Academy was shifting. It seemed that after Mo Dung Lu Liam, a new titan had finally arrived to claim his place. The protagonist's squad had already wiped the slate clean on all 6 dungeons by the time young Master Lang's team finally staggered out of the Heart of the Machine. Every member of Lang's crew was a bruised and battered mess. They gasped for air, sighing, "Thank God we bolted when we did. Hell difficulty is just not meant for mortals. I bet even a century from now, nobody will beat it." Clueless about the actual scores, young Master Lang started talking trash the second he spotted the protagonist. "To Tram? You're still breathing? I figured you'd be a permanent part of the machinery by now." Without a point of comparison, true greatness is hard to measure. Young Master Lang had unintentionally become the low bar that highlighted the protagonist's excellence. "Look, the Thien Lang squad is out. Judging by how trash they look, they clearly bombed the mission." Ignoring the whispers, young Master Lang scoffed. "What's with the peanut gallery? Who cares if we didn't finish? My elite squad held out for a solid hour before we chose to use the breakstones to exit. Unlike this loser to Tram and his bunch, they probably just posed for a photo at the entrance, panicked, and smashed their breakstones immediately. Now those are the real failures." Without a word, the protagonist reached out and clamped down on Lang's finger. A sharp crack echoed as young Master Lang let out a high-pitched yelp. His fingerbone was being crushed in a vice grip. The protagonist leaned in, his voice cold. Tell me exactly which eye saw me fail, you loudmouth. Lang used his free hand to point wildly at the protagonist's face, screaming, "Drop the act! If you didn't fail, are you trying to say a nobody like you actually conquered hell difficulty?" The protagonist responded by snapping that disrespectful finger as well. Young Master Lang was livid, his face turning purple. You did it again! You little brat! Today I'm going to beat you until you're on your knees begging me to be your grandpa! As if the tower itself was tired of the lying, the Star Tower's AI boomed, "To Tram has cleared hell difficulty, heart of the machine. Rank, S-class. To Tram has cleared hell difficulty, heart of the machine. Rank, S-class." Young Master Lang's jaw hit the floor. What? He actually beat it? The AI didn't stop there. To Tram has cleared hell difficulty, Skull Swamp, rank S-class. Lang stood frozen. Skull Swamp on hell mode, he finished that too? To Tram has cleared hell difficulty, Man Through Deep Forest, rank S-class. Sweat began to pour down Lang's face. He couldn't process the speed. There's more. This can't be real. Young Master Lang's brain felt like it was short-circuiting as the notifications for the remaining 3 dungeons flashed bright. Is it even possible? Did he run the table on every hell-level trial? The Star Tower gave the final confirmation. To Tram has achieved a full clearance of hell difficulty. Rank, S-class. Young Master Lang's legs turned to jelly, and he collapsed. 7 major hell-level dungeons in a row? No human should be able to move that fast. The gears finally turned in Lang's head. No wonder a goddess like Mo Dung Lu Liam chose him. The guy's a total monster. I guess her taste in men is as sharp as her skills. I've been completely humiliated. The protagonist stood over him and asked, "Had enough yet?" Young Master Lang nodded weakly. "Yeah, I'm convinced." The protagonist took a threatening step closer. "Then call me Dad like you promised." Young Master Lang just stared up, paralyzed, not knowing whether to cry or obey. The Star Tower made its final announcement. Congratulations to Tram for setting a new historical record for Tianqin Academy. All 7 space nodes cleared on hell difficulty. Reward, automatic eligibility for Scion of the Institute status. A golden Scion medallion materialized in the air, and the protagonist caught it with a bored expression. He looked at the prestigious Scion badge with nothing but pure contempt. The news traveled fast. Old Man Hoak appeared in a flash of light, desperate to see the person who had pulled off the impossible 7-fold victory. A student in the crowd pointed toward the center. "Master Hoak Khan, the one you're looking for is To Tram." Breaking a centuries-old record should have been a celebration, but the moment Hoak Khan saw it was To Tram, his face soured. He looked at the boy like a nuisance rather than a star. Him again. The commoners whispered among themselves, "To Tram is the first guy to earn a Scion title without a silver spoon in his mouth. I'm so jealous. His future is basically paved with gold now." You guys don't get it. Being a Scion isn't just about perks. It means you're officially the global elite once you graduate. Hoak Khan spoke with the arrogance of a king choosing a servant. "To Tram, I see a glimmer of talent in you. If you apologize here in front of everyone, I'll overlook your past and take you under my wing as my disciple." The crowd was stunned by the offer, ignoring how ridiculous Hoak Khan sounded. Master Hoak Khan wants to mentor him? That's an even bigger prize than the Scion title. I guess To Tram is just so powerful that even the Master can't ignore him. The protagonist narrowed his eyes. Apologize? For what exactly? Gasps rippled through the onlookers. Is he seriously talking back to Master Hoak Khan's authority right now? Hoak Khan sneered. Using a legendary medicine king on a common student is a criminal waste of a miracle. Do you really not see the error in your ways? The protagonist fired back with logic. I cleared the realm. I earned the prize. It belonged to me. Using it to save my brother's life is the best use it could ever have. Where's the waste in that? Hoak Khan's voice turned icy. So you're doubling down on your defiance? The protagonist stood tall. I'm not wrong, so I won't apologize. Hoak Khan's knuckles turned white. Fine. In all my years, I've never met a brat as stubborn as you. Listen well, To Tram. You earned the Scion slot, but actually becoming one requires a majority vote from the current Scion Circle. The regular students knew exactly what that meant. The students looked at him with pity, thinking he was throwing his life away. It's over. Master Hoke has him in his crosshairs. He's already pissed off half the Scions. There's no way he passes the vote. Why won't he just bow? He's losing a master and gaining a powerful enemy for nothing. Huak Can decided to use the weight of the elite to crush the boy's spirit. He barked an order. Summon every scion of Tianqin Academy to this plaza immediately. A short while later, the elites arrived, radiating arrogance. One by one, they voiced their rejection. I vote no on Tu Tram. He doesn't belong with us. My vote is no. And of course, the humiliated eunuch Hong was right there in the front row to cast his spiteful vote. Tu Tram executed Bok Tram Kitch within the Medicine King's secret realm. The Bok clan is already mobilizing for blood. They won't let this slide. There is zero chance he'll be allowed to claim the title of Scion of the Institute now. That arrogant brat. Tu Tram actually had the nerve to lay a hand on me. Today, I'll make sure his dreams of becoming a scion are crushed into the dirt. I object. Since when does a random nobody deserve to stand among the elite? I refuse. Huak Can loomed over the crowd, his voice heavy with pressure. To Tram, I cast my objection. I refuse you. You heard the verdict? Not a single soul here is willing to vouch for your entry into the Scion Circle. Suddenly, a defiant voice rang out. Actually, there is one. Young Master Lang, completely won over by the protagonist's overwhelming prowess, stepped forward. I cast my vote in favor. Tu Tram belongs among the Scions. Vote. Master Huak Can's face twisted in confusion. Young Master Lang, do you realize what you're saying? Young Master Lang replied with total conviction. Master Hoke, given to Tram's sheer destructive power, having him as a scion is actually an honor for the rest of us. Thien Yut hissed in his ear. Lang, the guy literally stole Senior Mo Dung from you and just finished tenderizing your face. Why on earth are you defending him? Young Master Lang just shrugged with a smirk. What can I say? He beat the logic right into me. I'm convinced. The protagonist suddenly winced, that familiar splitting headache returning to haunt him. His inner circle didn't even blink. They'd seen this show before. Lai Loi remarked, check out that pained look on Brother Toe's face. Yep, he's definitely hitting a new level. Duyet chimed in. If my math is right, Papa Toe just hit 4-star. It's insane. Most people spend their entire lives trying to touch 4-star, and he's done it as a freshman. Too Long added, now that we've conquered the hell difficulty of the 6 great dungeons, it's time we pushed our own limits. We can't let the gap between us and Tu Tram get too wide. The protagonist sighed dejectedly. What's the point of being 4-star? I don't feel any taller or look any different. With his foundation now more solid than ever, the protagonist knew his 3 companions were strong enough to handle their next growth spurt without his constant intervention. Duyet felt a surge of energy. 3-star is the gateway to becoming a true elite. After this breakthrough, I feel like all my senses have been cranked up to 11. Out of nowhere, a familiar head of pinkish-purple hair bobbed toward them. Tu Tram, wait up! The protagonist spun around. Ngui Tat Hoi, what are you doing here? Ngui wasted no time. Tu Tram, I want in. I want to join your squad for the expedition into the God's Realm. The God's Realm? You're going to have to back up. I have no idea what you're talking about. Ngui Tat Hoi looked at them in disbelief. How are you guys out of the loop on this? That massive spatial rift that tore open outside the city limits a few days ago? You couldn't have missed it. Li Loi nodded. Oh, we saw it. It was a total circus. The principal and every heavy hitter above 5-star vanished into it. Is that rift what you're calling the God's Realm? Ngui Tat Hoi nodded eagerly. Exactly. It's been officially dubbed the God's Realm, and the gates are open. The Alliance is calling for the top academy teams to deploy. Anyone under 5-star can dive in to rack up military merits. Every elite squad in the city is scrambling to get a piece of the action. The protagonist asked, why the focus on squads? Can't a solo pro just walk in? Ngui Tat Hoi shook his head. Too risky. The realm is unstable, which is the only reason they're letting sub-5-star pros in. It's unprecedented. If it stabilizes, it could become a 9-star nightmare. If something went wrong then, the monster surge would wipe us off the map. The Alliance thinks this is a play by outer gods, so we have to dismantle it before it fully takes shape. Leloy looked to his leader. Brother Toe, are we in? The protagonist gave a short nod. Let's do it. Rare military merits were a prize he couldn't ignore. He thought, I'm currently a sergeant major. A successful campaign could push me to major. Once I have that rank, these petty clans won't be able to touch me. Ngui grinned. I'm going in with you. This is the maiden voyage of that realm. The first ones through the door always find the best loot. The protagonist eyed him skeptically. Ngui, what's your current rank? Ngui blinked. 2-star, why do you ask? The protagonist deadpanned. Why? You're a 2-star trying to dive into a 5-star death trap. Are you actively seeking a funeral? Ngui eyes burned with youthful fire. I'm not afraid to die. High risk, high reward. I need to get stronger, and a realm this volatile is my best shot at rewriting my destiny. The protagonist muttered, Well, I'm afraid. Ngui sneered instantly. Afraid of what? To Tram? I guess I had you pinned wrong. I didn't think you were a coward. The protagonist corrected him coldly. I'm afraid you're going to be a giant anchor dragging us down. Ngui froze, the bluntness hitting him like a physical blow. But he didn't back down. He doubled down. I won't be a burden. If I start slowing the team down, I'll take myself out of the equation, I promise. The protagonist raised an eyebrow, impressed. You really are a cold-blooded one, aren't you? In a separate, high-security location, Lord Thunder God, you summoned me. The legendary Thunder God looked up. Give me the latest on to Tram. What's the boy been up to? The subordinate replied, He's joined Tiankin Academy and has been setting the place on fire with his recent antics. Thunder God leaned in, intrigued. Tell me everything. The man reported, He didn't just snag all 7 Genesis Medicine Kings. He went on to clear the hell difficulty of every single major secret realm in the Academy back-to-back. Thunder God erupted into a booming, joyful laugh. Fantastic, my instincts were spot on. This chaotic region is holding steady for now. The outer gods won't be making a move yet. Pick someone to hold the line here. I'm heading back to Tiankin Academy for a while. The subordinate blinked in surprise. Lord, may I ask why you're returning to the Academy personally? Thunder God answered as if it were the most obvious thing in the world. To claim to Tram as my personal disciple. The subordinate was floored. A 9-star Thunder God actively hunting for a disciple? And he's going after a freshman? This is going to break the news cycle. To Tram just hit the jackpot of the millennium. Thunder God waved a hand, signaling the man to make the travel arrangements immediately. Back at the academy, the protagonist had allowed Ngui to tag along as they prepped for the gods' realm. Suddenly, Mo Dung Lu Lim appeared, her expression serious. To Tram, I need a word with you. Alone. The protagonist turned. Senior, what's going on? Lu Lim asked, So, have the rumors about the gods' realm reached your ears yet? The protagonist nodded. I just got the briefing. Lu Lim raised a skeptical eyebrow. Don't tell me you're actually planning to go? The protagonist replied, I'm definitely giving it a shot. I heard there's a chance to stack up military merits, and the loot potential is too high to ignore. Lu Lim warned him sternly, Stay away. That place is a death trap for a first-year student. The protagonist shrugged casually. Well, it's not like my schedule is packed with other adventures anyway. Lu Lim pressed for a final answer. Still being difficult? Are you absolutely certain? The protagonist didn't blink. My mind is made up. Seeing his resolve, Lu Lim decided to give him a fighting chance. Fine, take this. The protagonist's eyes widened. Is this a skill scroll? Lu Lim nodded. Exactly. I made a promise to help you secure a universal, non-class-specific skill. The protagonist felt a flicker of hope. He looked at her playfully. Senior, you're looking out for me so much. Is it possible you've actually fallen for me? Lu Lim replied with cool pragmatism. Keep dreaming. I've invested way too much in you to let you go and die this early. A bit deflated, the protagonist muttered, Right. Well, thanks anyway. Lu Lim explained, "This is an unsealed scroll. The ability you pull will be totally random. However, if you're aiming for a high-tier legendary skill, you'd need a luck shard, those rare divine relics that sometimes drop on the Abyss battlefield. They can basically manipulate fate." The protagonist groaned, "A luck shard? Where am I supposed to stumble upon one of those? And even if someone had one, they'd never put it up for sale." Lu Lim agreed. "True, they're practically myths. I'm just giving you the facts so you know what you're up against." The protagonist sighed in defeat. "I appreciate the insight." It was the protagonist's first experience with a skill that didn't come directly from a system prompt. He thought to himself, "I've got plenty of tools, but a bigger arsenal never hurt. Who turns down free power?" Suddenly, a strange sensation washed over him. He felt his chest. "Wait, why is it getting so hot? Is it the container Uncle Hai gave me? The heirloom from my parents?" The box used to be sealed tight, resisting every attempt to open it, but now the seal has just vanished on its own. Let's see what they left for me. As he cracked it open, a luck shard shimmered inside. It seemed as though his late parents were acting like guardian spirits, clearing the obstacles from his path. "Ask and you shall receive." I never imagined my parents would leave me a treasure of this magnitude. He immediately paired the shard with the scroll to guarantee a top-tier result. The luck shard has been synchronized. Now let's see what we get. He slowly unfurled the ancient parchment. Unlocking universal skill. Success. You have acquired the S-grade skill. Corpse explosion. The protagonist grinned with delight. Incredible, an S-grade skill, and it's a heavy hitter too. Those luck shards are the real deal. Corpse explosion. The name speaks for itself. I'll need to find a suitable volunteer to test the blast radius later. Now a 5-man squad. The protagonist's group finally reached the shimmering threshold of the god's realm. Ngui Tuthoi gestured forward. "This is it, the gateway to the god's realm." Tu Long shivered slightly. "It's breathtaking. Just standing here, you can feel a heavy, invisible weight pressing down on your soul." Officers from the Star Tower Alliance were stationed at the front, processing the registrants. "State your team name and list all participating members." Leloy looked over. "Brother To, we haven't officially named the squad yet. The honor is yours." The protagonist chose a name that was short, sharp, and bold. Godslayer. Leloy slammed his fist into his palm. "Now that's a name. The Godslayers. One day we'll be the ones purging those outer gods trying to breach our world." The official checked the digital log. Information verified. Every student entering the god's realm will be granted 3 base military merit points. Further rewards will be calculated based on your tactical performance inside. Leloy's jaw dropped. 3 points just for walking through the door? That's a massive payout, isn't it? Tu Long remained skeptical. Military merit is the most elusive currency in the world. It's a mark of true status, usually reserved for heroes of the front lines. This seems a bit too generous. The protagonist warned them. "You think it's a bonus? I'd call it hazard pay. It's a clear sign that the god's realm is more dangerous and unpredictable than anything we've faced." Ngui Tuthoi didn't waver. "Tram is right, but I didn't come here to play it safe. I'm not backing down." Leloy grinned, trying to shake the tension. "I'm actually getting pumped. In hammer mode, I'm an indestructible wall. Bring it on, Duyet." Duyet looked at their leader with total confidence. "Nothing is too dangerous as long as we're following Brother Tu," Tu Long said with rising passion. "This is it, the moment the Godslayer team carves its name into history." The protagonist nodded. "Then let's not keep destiny waiting. Move out." Senior Sister Doan had also geared up for the mission and crossed paths with the protagonist near the portal. The protagonist greeted her. "Senior Doan heading into the fire as well?" Doan Ting Ting replied, "I've already secured the dragon saliva herb. Since the god's realm is essentially a raw 9-star secret realm in the making, it's a prime spot for dragons. I'm taking the risk." Other students were motivated by simpler desires. "Let's go. Even if we just grab those 3 merit points and run, it's worth the trip." Younger students charged into the rift with fearless enthusiasm. "Team Starting Point is going all the way. Team Tomato is making the top 10 for sure. Watch out. The Kin dominators are coming through. We're scions. You can't touch us. Elite Academy or not, I'm from Vo and I'm ready for war. Lin Academy for the glory of humanity. Let's move. Ngui Tut Hoi noted. The Alliance has pulled out all the stops for this campaign, dangling massive incentives. Every major academy in Long City has sent their best teams to the front. Tu Long surveyed the horizon, noting the scale. By the look of it, thousands of squads and tens of thousands of souls have already crossed the threshold. Just then, a flashy, high-tech aircraft descended upon the god's realm, commanding everyone's attention. A striking young man stood proudly at the prow of the vessel, radiating authority. Look, it's the aerial mothership. The legend himself has arrived. Li Loi muttered under his breath. Who's the pretty boy acting like he owns the sky? Ngui Tut Hoi's eyes widened in recognition. That's Min Nyut Tien Tan. Li Loi blinked. Min Nyut Tien Tan? Is he supposed to be famous? Ngui Tut Hoi explained, Thien King Academy only has 3 Thien Fu prodigies. Besides Mo Dung Lu Liam, he's the top tier. He's terrifyingly strong. I've always viewed him as the ultimate benchmark to surpass. Min Nyut Tien Tang was clearly a fan favorite. That mothership is insane. He's my absolute idol. He's already a 5-star pro. I can't believe he's joining this campaign too. So cool. The protagonist asked, Is that ship part of his professional ability? Ngui Tut Hoi nodded. Exactly. He's a super god mechanic. The mothership is his masterpiece. They say its main cannon can literally erase a god. Excited youths shouted to one another, Quick, tail the mothership. We'll be safe as long as we're behind Min Nyut Tien Tang. Wait for us, idol. Let's move. The electric atmosphere got the protagonist's blood pumping. He turned to the squad. Time for us to make our move, too. The 5 of them stepped through the portal, disappearing into the god's realm. As they materialized, Tu Long scanned the surroundings. It's nothing but endless dunes. No one in sight. It looks like the realm scatters everyone to random coordinates upon entry. While the students ventured into the unknown, the heavy hitters of Tien Kin Academy were gathered around a table, ready for a high-stakes discussion. The regional professional alliance leader broke the silence. Regarding the god's realm crisis, any further thoughts? Someone rhythmically tapped a pipe against the table. He spoke up. Leader, doesn't this whole operation feel a bit unsettling to you? Huak Can countered immediately. You know the risks of a fallen god's domain. Using the youth to stabilize the rift is the most reliable strategy we have. Old Tan let out a cold, sharp laugh. You're quite a piece of work. Sending children to the front lines while you hide in the back like a coward in a shell. Huak Can's face flushed with rage. Old Tan, watch your tone. What are you implying? Old Tan replied dryly. Nothing special. I just felt like insulting you to your face. Huak Can slammed his fist down. Don't push it. You think your reputation intimidates me? Madame Miu intervened. Gentlemen, please. The gates are open. At this stage, bickering is a waste of breath. Ba Thien Tru added his support. The god's realm is lethal, yes, but it's packed with treasures. It's a rare forge for creating supreme elites. Sacrifice is simply the price of progress. The alliance leader nodded. Then we wait. When the rift peaks, we will unite our strength to banish the fallen god back to the void. Old Tan stood up, completely disinterested. You lot can play at being gods. This old man is heading home for a nap. Huak Can turned to the leader, fuming. This is a high-level summit. Old Tan might be a 9-star powerhouse, but his arrogance is becoming a liability. The alliance leader sighed with forced patience. Old Tan is frustrated, that's all. But humanity is backed into a corner. Sometimes a few must be sacrificed for the many. Madame Miu added smoothly, trading the lives of the weak in the god's realm to forge new elites and solve the rift. It's a masterstroke. Old Tan just lacks the vision for the greater good. Ba Thien Tru sneered in agreement. For a member of the elite, Old Tan is surprisingly lacking in enlightenment. Back in the dunes, the protagonist's group was struggling. This place is massive. We've been trekking forever without seeing a single soul. Duet's eyes snapped open. Heads up! Something's closing in! Li Loi looked around wildly. Where? I don't see anything! Duet pointed down, Below us, in the sand. On cue, a monstrous armored centipede erupted from the desert floor, sending sand flying everywhere. Tu Long didn't hesitate. He transformed, gripping his massive axe for the kill. In his female form, Tu Long delivered a crushing blow, slamming the axe directly into the creature's skull. The centipede twitched and collapsed into a heap on the sand. Tu Long exhaled. Thank God it's tough, but at least it's not invincible. But in the blink of an eye, the creature's legs began to twitch, and it lurched back to its feet. The protagonist roared, "Tu Long, behind you! It's back up!" He instantly summoned a defensive donkey to absorb the centipede's counterstrike, saving Tu Long. Tu Long gasped, "How? I felt its skull shatter. It should be dead." Refusing to quit, Tu Long landed another devastating strike, once again caving in the monster's head. The centipede fell again, lying as still as a stone, just like before. Do it checked her sensors. The pulse is gone. It's definitely dead this time. And yet the sand shifted as the beast rose from its grave for a third time. Leloy freaked out, shouting, "Are you kidding me? It's a zombie. It just won't stay down." Nguyen turned pale as the realization hit. This is the true horror of this realm. The monsters are immortal. They just keep reviving. Leloy grabbed the protagonist's arm. "Brother Toe, let's bail. We can't win against something that won't die." The protagonist stood his ground, a calm look in his eyes. "No need to run. Put it down one more time. I've got a new trick to try." Tu Long places her complete faith in her comrade's plan. An instant later, the massive centipede is once again crushed under Tu Long's overwhelming strike. The protagonist checks with Trong Do It. "Give me a reading. Is this thing truly deceased?" Do It confirms, "Verified. No heartbeat, 0 life signatures detected." The protagonist nods. "Excellent. Everyone clear the area. It's time to reveal the destructive power of an S-grade skill." He triggers his newest ability, Corpse Explosion. The monster's massive carcass erupts, detonating into a million fragments. Leloy watches the carnage, visibly shaken by the sheer violence of the blast. Nguyen eyes are dinner plates. What kind of terrifying sorcery did I just witness? Do it checks the dust. It's over. There's nothing left to revive. The monster has been erased. The protagonist is quietly thrilled. He now possesses the perfect delete button. Corpse Explosion is an absolute game changer. A short while later, the team stumbles upon the remains of another student squad devoured by the sand dwellers, causing Tu Long to let out a heavy sigh. That makes the fourth group we've found completely slaughtered out here. Nguyen mutters, "For most teams lost in this wasteland, these immortal bugs are a death sentence. If you aren't fast, you're food. This god's realm is a nightmare." 2 more centipedes emerge from the dunes, lunging at them with hungry mandibles. The protagonist greets them with the devastating corpse explosion. In a flash of light and sound, the 2 predators are vaporized into nothingness. The protagonist signals his team, "Keep moving. This desert is a graveyard with no rewards. We need to find the exit." Suddenly, the group spots a trio gliding through the air on a floating vessel, heading straight for them. Nguyen is impressed. Flying carpets are rare treasures. Could that be a divine artifact? Those usually only drop on the Abyss battlefield. The trio is led by a girl who once stood as an equal beside the protagonist's crew. Leloy squints at the sky. "Wait a second, why does that girl look so familiar?" Tu Long recognizes her instantly. "It's Vuong Nguyen Tien, General Vuong Long's daughter, the girl from the train." The noble-hearted Vuong Nguyen Tien spots the group and has no intention of leaving them to the wolves. She feels a surge of guilt, realizing she's inadvertently lured a swarm of monsters toward them. Leloy turns pale as he sees the horde trailing her. "Is she serious? She's bringing a whole army of those things down on us." Nguyen Tien waves urgently, shouting, "To Tram, look out!" Knowing she means them no harm, the protagonist greets her calmly. "Nguyen Tien, long time no see. I see you've joined the hunt too." Nguyen Tien skips the pleasantries. "To Tram, get on the carpet. Now, these monsters are immortal. They'll just keep coming back." A girl in her squad whispers a frantic warning. "Captain, there are 5 of them. This carpet can only hold 6 people. We won't fit." The protagonist waves her off. "Don't sweat it. We've got these bugs under control. The chivalrous Nguyen Tien won't hear of it." "I can't do that. We're the ones who brought this mess to your doorstep. I won't abandon you." She and her 2 teammates leap from the carpet, weapons drawn. "We'll hold them off together!" Nguyen is struck by her courage. She truly is a woman of honor. As the ferocious centipedes close in, Nguyen Tien summons her flying sword with a graceful gesture. With a silver flash, she effortlessly carves through the advancing monsters. Too long is floored. The Sword Immortal class is no joke. She's incredibly fast. Nguyet Thien has become a true powerhouse since we last met. Nguyet Thien yells back to Totram, "Get the others on the carpet. We'll cover the retreat before they start regenerating." The protagonist just smiles. "Regeneration isn't on the menu today. Corpse explosion." With one sharp command, the protagonist turns the entire pack of monsters into a cloud of ash. Nguyet Thien freezes, her eyes wide and her words failing her. Her teammates are paralyzed with shock. 5 immortals turn to dust in a second. That's absolutely terrifying. Nguyet Thien eventually finds her voice. "I guess I vastly underestimated you. It seems you didn't need my help at all." A few moments pass, and with their own paths to follow, the two groups prepare to split up. The protagonist offers a parting warning. "This realm is full of hidden teeth, Nguyet Thien. Stay sharp." Nguyet Thien smiles warmly. "You too, Totram. Once my mission is complete, I'll track you down again." Nguyet Hoi stands like a statue, watching Nguyet Thien's carpet disappear into the horizon. He's clearly smitten. Wow, she's really something. Even her name sounds like a melody. Realizing Nui has finally stopped moping over Lu Lim, the protagonist nudges him. "What? Finally found a new crush?" The team resumes their march. 3 long hours, but I think the edge of this desert is finally in sight." Do It suddenly snapped her attention toward the horizon. "Wait, I feel movement over there." Tracing the line of Do It's gaze, the squad spotted another group of adventurers locked in a desperate struggle against a swarm of those undying centipedes. Leloy noted, "Looks like someone else is trying their luck with the monsters." Based on their gear, they look like fellow students from Tien Kin Academy. Nguyet Hoi scanned the environment and deduced, "I bet they're after that shimmering pool. The monsters are clearly prioritizing its protection." Just as he spoke, a member of the distant team shrieked in frustration, "It's no use, these damn bugs won't stay dead. We can't even get within arm's reach of the water. We're going to hit our limit soon. If we don't break through, these things are going to grind us down until there's nothing left but bone. Fall back for now. We need to regroup and find more muscle if we want to secure that glazed divine water." One of the scouts scanned the dunes, spotted Totram's team, and called out, "Wait, Captain! Look over there! We've got incoming reinforcements!" Leloy, always looking to the protagonist for the final word, asked, "What's the move, Brother Toe? Should we go poke our noses in?" The rival captain didn't wait, shouting out an invitation for backup. "Hey, Totram, how about we team up and split the prize?" The protagonist didn't budge an inch, his voice cool as he asked, "And you are? Do we know each other?" The captain smirked. "A freshman who's been flipping the academy upside down? Your reputation precedes you, kid. I'm Lam Zhao, a 3rd year here at Tien Kin and leader of the Jiuquang squad. Meet my crew." The protagonist looked at the chaos and asked, "What's the prize that's worth all this trouble?" Lam Zhao gestured toward the spring. "That pool right behind the swarm? That's a fountain of glazed, divine water. It permanently boosts a professional's physical stats. Normally, you'd have to dive into a 9-star realm to find even a drop. It's a literal liquid fortune. Help us, and we can seize it together." The protagonist tilted his head, intrigued. "And how exactly does this partnership work?" Lam Zhao laid out the plan. "Simple. Since the monsters keep reviving, your squad plays the bait and holds them off while my team makes a dash for the spring to bottle the water." Leloy's eyes narrowed, his internal alarm bells ringing. "You've got a lot of nerve. You think we're fresh out of the nursery? We do the heavy lifting while you play grab bag?" A member of the Ju Kwang squad spat back, "We're doing you a favor, kid. Don't be ungrateful. If it weren't for Totram's track record, do you think we'd even talk to a bunch of rookies?" Leloy didn't flinch. "Keep your favors. We can take that water whenever we feel like it, with or without you." It was the classic struggle. Though Totram's name carried weight, his friends were still viewed as nothing more than baggage and loud-mouthed amateurs by the upperclassmen. Lam Zhao tried a more diplomatic angle. "Listen, Totram, these guardians are a nightmare. No single squad can secure that spring alone. We need each other." The protagonist countered with a smirk. "Fine, let's cooperate. But your team holds the line, and we go for the water." To everyone's shock, Lam Zhao agreed instantly. "Deal." The protagonist blinked, thinking to himself, "Wait, I was just testing her patience. She actually said yes?" As if the contract was sealed, Lam Zhao's squad moved into defensive positions, drawing the monster's aggro to clear a path for the freshmen. Lam Zhao barked out orders. "Move out! The swarm is getting restless again!" The Diu Quang squad charged into the thick of the centipedes with synchronized precision. She shouted a final reminder to her teammates, "Keep them busy. Use crowd control. Don't waste energy killing what won't stay dead." Then she turned her head toward the protagonist. "To Tram! The path is open! Go! Get that water now!" Sensing the window was closing, the protagonist waved his team forward. "On me! Let's move!" A moment later, as they reached the edge of the pool, Tu Long breathed in the air. "This stuff is the real deal. Just the mist coming off the surface makes me feel like I've had a full night's rest." While the monsters snapped at them, Lam Zhao glanced back and whispered to her strategist, "Status? Are they in the sweet spot?" The blue-haired youth grinned, checking his mana flow. "Target locked. The distance is perfect. Initiating the spell now." Lam Zhao's eyes went cold. "Be quick. Secure the glazed divine water and we vanish before they know what hit them." The blue-haired youth slammed his palms together, his mana flaring. "Formation Master Art. Transpositional swap." Just as the protagonist shouted, "Grab it!" Duyet's voice cut through the air. "Stop!" The protagonist froze. "What's wrong?" Duyet's face was pale with dread. "Danger! Something absolutely monstrous is waking up at the bottom of that pool." Tu Long gritted her teeth. "I knew it. A treasure this big wouldn't just be guarded by a few bugs." In a blink, a glowing geometric seal erupted under the Godslayer team, and with a sickening lurch, they were violently swapped with the Diu Quang squad. The blue-haired youth let out a triumphant roar. "Trade successful! The rookies are now the bait!" Lam Zhao smirked, looking at the spring now within her reach. "The water is ours." The protagonists' group found themselves suddenly surrounded by the very monsters they were supposed to be avoiding. "What the hell? How did we move?" Tu Long instinctively swung her axe, parrying a centipede's pincer. Lai Loi's head was spinning. "We were just at the water. How did we end up back in the kill zone?" The protagonist scanned the battlefield. "It's a switch. Lam Zhao played us from the start. They used a position swap formation." Li Loi turned red with rage, screaming at the back of the escaping squad. "You lying snakes! You think you can use us like this? I'll hunt you to the ends of the earth!" The blue-haired youth laughed over his shoulder as they approached the pool. "You actually thought we'd do the dirty work for you? Please." Another teammate added with a sneer, "Consider this a tuition fee, kids. Welcome to the real world." Lam Zhao ignored the shouting. "Quiet down and focus. Drain that pool before the big one wakes up." The youth in red knelt by the water, his eyes gleaming with greed as he dipped a bucket in. "With this much essence, our power is going to hit the stratosphere. We'll be unstoppable." At that precise second, the terrifying omen Duyet had sensed became a reality. Lam Zhao's entire crew froze in place, their expressions a mix of sheer bewilderment and shock. Lam Zhao stammered in disbelief. "What's going on? How did the entire spring just dry up in an instant?" The liquid treasure vanished completely, and from the hollowed basin something massive began to stir. The blue-haired youth turned ghost white. "Something's clawing its way up!" Bursting through the parched earth was a gargantuan winged nightmare of a centipede. Lam Zhao shrieked, "It's a flying heaven centipede!" The beast drank the entire spring. Slay it, and we might still reclaim the glazed divine water from its gut. The youth clutching the bucket was paralyzed by the proximity. The monster lunged and swallowed him whole before he could even scream. Panic ripped through Lam Zhao's remaining team as their morale shattered. "Ba was gone in a heartbeat! This thing is a demon!" Lai Loi barked a laugh. "That's what you get! Instant karma for your treachery!" Lam Zhao's group turned tail and bolted. "A flying heaven centipede is a boss-tier freak. We can't touch this thing. Retreat now!" Watching them flee, Lai Loi's contempt only grew. "You cowards! If you've got any spine left, come back and fight. Weren't you just bragging about your opportunity?" Lam Zhao glanced over her shoulder and hissed, "Keep your mouth shut. You're pinned down. You're as good as dead. There won't be enough of you left to bury." It was true. The swarm of lesser centipedes was still closing in on the protagonist's squad. Tram issued a calm command. "Let's wipe out these bottom feeders before we focus on the big one." Tulong surged forward, serving as the team's primary blade, her power second only to the protagonist. After she had systematically cut down the lesser drones, she stepped aside for the finisher. To Tram, the stage is yours. Blow these husks to hell. To the protagonist signaled his comrades. Back up, and I mean way back. The chain reaction from this many bodies is going to be catastrophic. Skill activation. Corpse explosion. A colossal blast erupted, sending a mushroom cloud of dust and debris high enough to be seen across the entire desert. Ngui Tut Hoi gasped in awe. Incredible. The sheer force of simultaneous detonations is exponential. It looks like the blast waves actually stack together. In his moment of distraction, Ngui Tut Hoi failed to see the flying heaven centipede hovering directly above him. Duit's voice pierced the air. Dive. The squad threw themselves into the sand, narrowly escaping the snapping jaws of the winged predator. They realized that if they wanted to survive this encounter, they had to find a way to ground this aerial threat. Tulong gritted her teeth. The flying heaven centipede is a legendary boss usually found in 4-star dungeons. I never expected a threat this high level so early in the zone. The flying heaven centipede let out a shrill vibration. Batu. And the remains of the monsters Tram had just vaporized began to knit back together and rise. Lai Loi stared in horror. Resurrection? How can they reform after being blown into atoms? Tulong realized the grim reality. This is its unique aura. It's a powerhouse on its own, but its ability to reanimate its army makes it a nightmare. We're in deep trouble. The flying heaven centipede lunged forward for a killing blow. The protagonist stepped up. Get behind me! I need a second to channel a full power strike! However, the beast wasn't just strong. It was intelligent. It used its wings to pivot in midair, staying just out of reach of his heavy punch. The monster's tactical evasion caught Tram off guard. Ngui Tut Hoi shouted to Tulong, The flying heaven centipede is famous for its supernatural agility. Basic attacks will never touch it in the air. Refusing to stay down, Tulong leaped back into the fray. In terms of pure raw speed and finesse, Tulong was the ace of the protagonist's squad. The group watched anxiously as every slash and strike was effortlessly dodged. Even Tulong's expert movements couldn't pin it down. The beast found an opening and whipped its massive tail, sending Tulong tumbling across the sand. Tulong pushed herself up, shouting, Run while you can! This boss is beyond our current level! But the path was blocked. The resurrected swarm had completely surrounded them. We'll never outrun it. With that thing's flight speed, it'll pick us off one by one the moment we break formation. As the least experienced member, Ngui Tut Hoi found himself cornered by the circling drones. Ngui Tut Hoi panicked, screaming, Help! Get it off me! Liloi slammed a heavy fist into a centipede that was closing in on Ngui Tut Hoi. Frustrated by the panic, Liloi barked, Ngui Tut Hoi, for crying out loud, snap out of it. Start using your class skills to fight back. Ngui Tut Hoi struggled to find the words. I can't. My abilities don't work like that. The conditions haven't been met yet. The female Tulong looked at Tram with grim resolve. Tram, go. If at least one of us makes it out, our deaths won't be in vain. The protagonist looked at her and said, I'm not leaving. Tulong, just keep that flying bastard busy for a few more seconds. I'm going to clear the board of these small fry and then we're going for a second round. Tulong nodded, trusting his vision as she prepared to engage the beast once more. Mowing down the standard centipede drones was a walk in the park for the protagonist's squad. Now they were standing face to face with the real heart of the nightmare. The protagonist signaled to Tulong, lure that winged freak directly over these carcasses. With their unspoken bond, the sharp-witted Tulong grasped the plan in an instant. She danced across the sand, nimbly vaulting over the remains of the fallen monsters. The protagonist tracked the movement and roared, Now, corpse explosion! Caught in the center of that volatile blast, the flying heaven centipede was bound to be mangled, if not obliterated. The protagonist smirked. With a detonation that massive, there's nowhere left for you to hide. From that second on, the beast's shredded wings failed it, and it plummeted to the earth. Liloi cheered. The bug is grounded. It can't dodge worth a damn after taking that blast. But it wouldn't stay down forever. Duyet shouted, Hurry! End it before it recovers! Indeed, the monster's supernatural vitality was already knitting its wounds back together. Since the beast was pinned to the dirt, the protagonist had a clear shot. Charged punch! The protagonist delivered a devastating blow straight into the centipede's skull, shattering its brain. Hoi peered through the dust, hesitant. Is it finally over? Tulong stepped up, caution in her eyes. To tram, detonate the main body. We can't give it a single chance to resurrect. The protagonist snapped his fingers. Good point. Everyone get some serious distance. However, elsewhere in the depths of the god's realm, a far more sinister presence lurked in the shadows. A twisted avian-human hybrid sat in a meditative trance, slowly mending its ancient wounds. I have been roused. To think a mere human could wield such explosive force. The quality of these sacrifices is higher than usual. I am not yet perfect, but I am close. After eons of feeding on the essence of man, my form is nearly whole. Only 3 fingers remain before I regain my true glory. Cower, for I shall be the first true god to manifest with a complete vessel. You shall all crawl at my feet. Through me, the age of man ends and the era of darkness begins. Meanwhile, the Star Tower's notification chimed for the squad. Boss defeated, Flying Heaven Centipede. Reward, 5 military merit points. Loot, Resurrection Token, Glazed, Divine Water, Shun Feng, Skill Scroll. The golden token and the glowing scroll materialized before them. Loi grinned, satisfied. That bug was a pain to swat, but with loot this legendary, I'd do it all over again. Hoi was awestruck. A resurrection token? That can literally pull someone back from the brink of death. Even top-tier 9-star veterans rarely get their hands on one. Tulong looked at the protagonist. To tram, you did the heavy lifting. This haul belongs to you. Do it nodded eagerly. Exactly. Papata earned every bit of it. The protagonist shook his head. I'll hold the resurrection token for the team. It's our ultimate insurance policy. This Shun Feng scroll seems to be all about wind and speed. That fits your style perfectly, Tulong. You take it. Tulong hesitated, her face flush with modesty. But this is an A-grade skill. It's far too valuable to just give away. The protagonist cut her off. Take it. No arguments. Use it immediately. This realm is a meat grinder. We need every edge we can get to survive. Tulong took a deep breath and broke the seal, absorbing the ancient knowledge. The essence of Shun Feng surged through her, integrating into her very soul. Loi leaned in, curious. Well, Tulong, feel like a speedster? The female version of Tulong blurred as she tested her new reflexes. She reappeared instantly. My speed has jumped tenfold. If that centipede tried to touch me now, it would only be hitting my afterimage. The protagonist then pulled out the vial of liquid light. Now for the glazed divine water. Let's see what it does. Staring at the shimmering pool of essence, he scratched his head. Any ideas on the proper application? Hoi stepped up confidently. You have to drink it and bathe in it simultaneously. He moved to demonstrate. First, take a deep drink to fortify your organs, then submerge. It hardens your body from the marrow to the skin. As Hoi drank, a soft, ethereal glow began to emanate from his pores. Liloi's eyes nearly popped out. No way, 1 gulp and he's glowing like a light bulb? This stuff is incredible. A short while later, Loi patted his rounded belly with a groan. I can't take another drop. Hoi nodded. Internal dose complete. Everyone into the pool. The team soaked together, marveling at the transformation. Can you feel it? Our muscles are becoming dense as iron, yet flexible as silk. This water is miraculous. My physical strength feels like it has doubled. It's as potent as the Medicine King's gifts. Duit admired her reflection in the water. Papato, look, my skin is glowing. Don't I look absolutely radiant? Hoi eventually stood up, feeling invigorated. I'm saturated. My body can't absorb any more essence. After this baptism, I feel like I could go toe-to-toe with a frontline warrior using nothing but my bare hands. The entire group stood together, revitalized and ready for whatever horrors the god's realm had in store. This stroke of luck was a game-changer. The collective lethality of the Godslayer squad has easily doubled. Loi was buzzing with adrenaline. Our power is skyrocketing in this god's realm. I'm hooked. Let's find the next jackpot. The protagonist didn't budge. He noted, hold on, there's still half a pool of that essence left. We aren't leaving a single drop behind. He whistled for his donkey herd, beckoning them to drink the remaining divine liquid. The celestial water worked its magic instantly, purging the donkey's mortal limits and reconstructing their skeletal frames. System alert. The donkey herd has manifested the innate trait, evolutionary might. 10 donkeys have sprouted wings and mastered the art of flight. The protagonist beamed with pride. That glazed divine water was worth every drop. My donkey brigade has transcended their limits once again. More impressively, the alpha donkey was on the verge of a total metamorphosis. The protagonist watched the transformation with bated breath. The lead donkey is undergoing a high-tier evolution. The goofy look was gone. In its place stood a creature of quiet dignity and imposing presence. Hoi whistled in appreciation. Now that is one majestic beast. Leloy felt a prickle of intimidation. Brother Toe's lead donkey feels like it just breached a whole new realm of existence. System alert. Your donkey has consumed the glazed divine water and ascended, evolving into a Tier 1 spirit beast. The protagonist was baffled. A spirit beast? Since when? As far as the standard manuals go, there isn't a single professional class with a spirit beast evolution tree. Suddenly, the lead donkey cleared its throat. Yo, big bro! The protagonist jumped back, stunned. What in the world? This thing just talked? Leloy stammered. Brother Toe, has your mount turned into some kind of desert demon? The donkey gave a thumbs up and chirped, Is good. Hoi scratched his head. What kind of broken gibberish is it speaking? The donkey realized its mistake and sighed heavily. Damn it all. The protagonist smacked his forehead. It can speak, all right. It just hasn't mastered the human dictionary yet. The God Slayer squad pressed forward, navigating the stark, silent stretches of the wasteland. The female version of Too Long broke the silence. I've been thinking, does anyone actually know the victory conditions for this god's realm? Hoi replied, It's a mystery. This node popped up out of nowhere. We're likely the ones who have to write the manual on how to clear it. Duit stopped in her tracks, whispering, Wait, does anyone else feel like the air just went dead? The protagonist's eyes narrowed. It's unnervingly quiet. Duit nodded. Exactly. My senses are dialed in way past the human average, yet I can't hear a heartbeat, a breeze, or even a grain of sand shifting. Too Long gripped her weapon. Silence this heavy usually precedes a storm. Everyone eyes sharp. Hoi pointed toward the horizon. Look, over there. A strange forest loomed ahead, its branches heavy with peculiar shapes swaying in the windless air. Leloy's eyes lit up. Don't tell me we've stumbled onto another treasure trove. The protagonist's gut twisted. Let's investigate, but stay cautious. The world truly is small. They had the misfortune of running into a familiar, unpleasant face. Duit hissed through her teeth. Oh, great, it's that snake Triolo again. Triolo sauntered over with a smirk. To Tram, it seems our threads are hopelessly tangled. Tell you what, come back to me and I'll give you a spot in my collection of backup lovers. The protagonist didn't miss a beat. Only if you call me Dad first. Lilang Tiu, ever the devoted doormat, barked. To Tram, you're still an ungrateful brat. Do you have any idea that Lo is Tien Kai Academy's star genius now? The elite adore her. Being her backup is a privilege most would kill for. The protagonist rolled his eyes. Seriously, Lilang Tiu? You've officially earned the crown for King of Simps. Just then, another group of explorers arrived, whispering in excitement. Look at those trees. What is that? Brother, it looks like spirit fruits hanging from the canopy. This place really is a gold mine. Let's get a move on. Lang Tiu sneered. Lolo, let's go. These commoners shouldn't even be breathed the same air as you, let alone compete for loot. As the protagonist got close enough to see the fruit, his blood ran cold and a curse escaped his lips. Holy mother of... Leloy choked out. Those aren't fruits. Those are people hanging by their necks. The other onlookers recoiled in horror. Why are they all strung up like that? They're all blue. Something monstrous lives here. Duit's eyes flared. Look out! The atmosphere is vibrating. The protagonist roared, Fall back, everyone out now. But despite his warning, the others stood frozen, sensing the danger but unable to move a muscle. The protagonist spun around, screaming, What are you waiting for? Run! But every youth there was staring blankly into space, their eyes glazed and hollow. The protagonist's heart sank. It's over. They've been hit by a mental blast. They've completely lost their minds. Something is definitely off. Why am I the only person standing here unaffected by this trance? But there was no time for self-reflection. The others, his closest friends included, were marching like puppets toward a certain doom. The moment they set foot in that grove, they'll end up like the rest, dangling from a noose until they stop breathing. I have to break the spell. As the lone survivor of the mental assault, he rushed to position himself between his team and the forest. He started by grabbing his best friend Tu Long and shaking him violently. "Snap out of it! Wake up now!" Tu Long remained hollow-eyed, pushing past him with a singular focus on reaching those gnarled branches. Suddenly, Triu Lo's ancient Book of Destiny materialized in the air, glowing with a strange light. The surge of energy jolted her back to consciousness. That was close. If it wasn't for the Book of Destiny, I would have been just another mind-controlled victim. The protagonist was hitting a wall of frustration. Damn it! Shouting isn't waking them up, and physically blocking them isn't slowing them down. Once she regained her bearings, Triu Lo frowned. To Tram, why are you interfering with them? Driven by his gut-level ethics, he snapped back, "What kind of stupid question is that? If I don't stop them, they're going to be executed by a tree." The heartless Triu Lo merely gestured toward the canopy. "A little hanging might be a small price to pay for what's happening up there. Look closer. Look." He squinted through the leaves and realized with horror that the bodies were warping, ripening into strange, gourd-like fruits that pulsed with energy. Triu Lo adjusted her frames with a cold smirk. "If my research serves me right, this is the mythical blood god tree. You'd typically need an 8-star dungeon to witness this. It harvests the life force of high-level professionals to grow blood god fruits. For a mage, eating one is like a direct injection of pure spiritual power." The protagonist felt a chill of disgust. Triu Lo's profession is truly parasitic. This woman doesn't see people, she sees fertilizer. She didn't even blink at the judgment. To Tram, in this world, a professional must seize power by any means necessary. These fruits are almost ripe. It's a gift from the heavens. Step aside and let nature take its course. To Tram stared her down. "Too bad for you. I'm classless, so I don't have much use for heavenly fruit." Without another word, he summoned his pack of fire-breathing donkeys into the clearing. He barked a clear command. "Donkeys, unleash hell! Burn these cursed trees until there's nothing left but ash!" Triu Lo shrieked, "To Tram, how dare you throw away a miracle to save these nobodies!" The protagonist didn't miss a beat. In seconds, his donkeys flooded the grove with flames, turning a massive section of the blood god forest into a roaring bonfire. Triu Lo was shaking with rage. "You deserve a slow death! You just incinerated the opportunity of a lifetime! Fine! If you want to play the hero so badly, you can burn right along with them." Before she could finish her incantation, the protagonist lunged forward and snatched the magic staff right out of her grip. Triu Lo froze, completely blindsided by his speed. The protagonist delivered a sharp slap across her face. "Watch your tone when you're talking to me," Triu Lo gasped, clutching her cheek. "To Tram? You actually laid a hand on me?" The protagonist followed up with another slap. "You're a backline mage trying to talk trash within arm's reach of a melee fighter? You're practically begging for a lesson in physics." Triu Lo hissed, "Give me back my staff this instant." His response was immediate. "How about another slap instead?" She let out a frustrated scream. "To Tram! You used to be my shadow. You were nothing but my—" Fed up with her delusions, he silenced her with a rapid-fire succession of slaps. "Shut your mouth. You still haven't figured out that the power dynamics have changed, have you?" Triu Lo retreated, crying out to her relic, "Book of Destiny, activate! Silent fire spirit, awaken and consume my enemies in a supreme blaze." The protagonist saw the spell forming and reacted. "Charged punch! You really think I'm going to stand here and let you finish a chant? Take a seat." Seeing her spells failing, Triu Lo's voice suddenly turned soft and melodic. "To Tram, wait. Please stop. To be honest, I've always still had feelings for you." The protagonist did not buy the act for a second. "What's the matter? Are you actually feeling a little fear for once? You're terrified, aren't you?" She leaned into the manipulation. "Think about our history, the good times we shared. Don't you feel a spark of regret? I've made mistakes, sure, but my heart was always yours. Let's just start over, please." As she became increasingly desperate and talkative, the protagonist's internal alarm bells went off. He was right to be suspicious. Her monologue was a smokescreen for a subterranean spell, allowing a swarm of undead hands to burst from the soil and pin his legs. Triu Lo stood up, her face twisting back into a sneer. "I was just playing for time, to Tram. Now that I've finished my preparations, you're trapped. What are you going to do now, hero?" The protagonist didn't panic. He simply looked down and commanded, "Explode!" The zombies clutching his ankles were instantly vaporized by a localized blast. Triolo's jaw dropped. She had no idea he possessed such a brutal countermeasure. The protagonist shook his legs free. "If your big plan relies on corpses, you've picked the wrong opponent." Triolo doubled down, screaming, "Wraith reincarnation!" A massive wave of ghouls began crawling out of the scorched earth like a rising tide. The protagonist surveyed the growing army and asked a chilling question. "I think I already know the truth, but I'll ask anyway. Triolo, you murdered all these people just to build this army, didn't you?" She didn't bother to deny it. Their lives were meaningless anyway. Using their fates to fuel my rise to the top is the highest honor they could hope for. The protagonist's eyes went cold. "Then let's give them their final rest. Corpse explosion!" Every single one of Triolo's restless spirits is blasted back into the dirt. Triolo stands frozen in shock. "This is impossible! What did you do to my army of corpses?" The protagonist delivers a stinging slap across her face. "You've gone too far, you snake. Today, I'm ending our history once and for all." Triolo whimpers, "To Tram, surely you don't actually intend to take my life?" The protagonist stares her down coldly. "I've never been more serious about anything in my life." Triolo puts on a tragic mask. "So all that love we shared, it just evaporates like mist?" The protagonist has reached his limit with her games. "Save the drama. You're just babbling to buy yourself a few more seconds." Suddenly, Lilang 2 breaks through his trance and lunges forward to shield Triolo. "I won't let you lay a finger on her!" He throws himself into the line of fire, taking a lethal blow meant for his mistress. The rest of the students finally snap out of their daze. "What on earth happened? That was terrifying. It's like we were under a dark spell." "Look, the forest is in ashes. Someone saved us just as we were about to join those hanging bodies." In a bizarre twist, a metallic gun barrel protrudes from Lilang 2's throat as he snarls, "To Tram, you'll never touch her! Die, you bastard!" The protagonist is caught completely off guard by the hidden weapon. The very second Lilang 2 pulls the trigger, the protagonist instinctively dives behind a nearby barrel to evade the gunfire. The protagonist mutters in sheer disbelief, "Unbelievable." He's lost both arms, yet he's figured out how to fire a weapon with his tongue. Lilang 2 isn't just a simp, he's a specialized tool. The distraction gives Triolo the window she needs to chant, "Swift wind spirit, carry me away to the sanctuary of my lost ancestors." To Tram, your evolution is staggering. Tell you what, come back to me now and I'll promote you to my lead backup. The protagonist narrows his eyes. "Triolo, this obsession with backups, it fuels that book of destiny of yours, doesn't it?" She remains silent. Mains. But her smirk betrays the truth. "The book of destiny holds the keys to godhood. A peasant like you couldn't possibly grasp its magnitude." The protagonist pushes further. "The book rewards you for every life you snuff out, right? That's why you're in such a hurry." She turns to flee. She throws one last threat over her shoulder. "Enjoy your victory for now, to Tram. Next time I won't be so merciful." The protagonist exhales. Silent confirmation I hit the nail on the head. Too long adds, "Your theory holds water. The Book of Destiny is whispered to be one of the 3 legendary artifacts of the mage class, and easily the most shadowed in mystery. Triolo has walked a dark path. If she's allowed to cultivate that power, she'll become a catastrophe for the entire world." The survivors begin to cluster around the charred remains of the trees. "Look at this fruit. It must be the fabled blood god fruit. Even though the forest is a pyre, these things haven't even been singed." These fruits are supposed to skyrocket a person's mental capacity. For any mage, this is a once-in-a-lifetime miracle. Wait a minute. These are still green. They're nowhere near ready. You're right. Fully matured blood god fruits are Medicine King tier treasures found in 8-star zones. These are just low-grade scraps. What a damn shame. In this state, they aren't just useless. They're actually a lethal poison if ingested. Leloy sighs. What a waste of money. If these were ripe, a single one would be worth a kingdom on the open market. Tulong gestures to the group. "Let's keep moving. There's nothing for us here." But Nuitathoy lingers, waiting for the other students to vanish over the dunes. "Hold on. Everyone, help me harvest as many of these blood god fruits as you can carry." Leloy groans. "Nguitathoy, Did you not hear them? These things are toxic. You can't eat them. Ngui Tut Hoi grins with total confidence. Just trust me and start picking. I'm about to show you all a real miracle. Li Loi remains skeptical. All right, what kind of magic trick is he pulling out of his hat now? Following the instructions, the squad gathers a massive pile of the crimson fruits and stacks them before him. Li Loi warns, "We spent a lot of energy gathering these, Ngui. If this is a prank, I'm making you eat every single one of them." Ngui Tut Hoi chuckles. "Eyes open, boys, the show is starting." He presses two of the unripe fruits together, and they merge seamlessly into a single, larger piece. Do it, gasps. "No way, they fused? How is that even possible?" Tu Long leans in closer. "It's more than just a fusion. Look at the color. The quality of the fruit is actually improving. It's maturing right before our eyes." Ngui Tut Hoi gives a confident thumbs up. "Spot on!" The protagonist's eyes widen. "Is your hidden talent item synthesis?" Ngui Tut Hoi nods. "Bingo. It's my secret ace. I can combine two identical objects to create a superior version." Li Loi is floored. "I've never heard of a skill like that in my life. That's not just a talent, it's a god-tier cheat code." Do it bounces with excitement. "So if we keep merging them, we can actually create a legendary ripe blood god fruit?" Ngui Tut Hoi winks. "That is exactly the plan." He continues the process, his hands moving in a blur as he synthesizes the harvest. A sweet, intoxicating aroma begins to fill the air as the fruits reach the peak of perfection. As the process continues, the surface of the blood fruit begins to shift, resembling the face of a wizened old man. A brilliant radiance suddenly erupts. It has reached full maturity. This glowing aura is the unmistakable signature of a ripe blood god fruit. Ngui Tut Hoi turned to the squad and asked, "All right, who wants to be the first to take a bite?" Li Loi stepped forward. "I'll do it. I'll be the test subject to see if there are any nasty side effects for the rest of you." The protagonist held up a hand. "Hold on a second." He looked at Ngui Tut Hoi and asked, "Is it possible to keep synthesizing them further?" Ngui Tut Hoi blinked in surprise. "Keep going."